Hello, 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 everybody. Today is a day of all days. Today we are going to be playing Mixtape. Oh boy. I'm sure by now most people have heard about this game, for what it's worth. Let's get it started up here. Oh, I gotta actually make it a game capture. Okay, yeah, I'll allow it through my firewall for some reason. Oh boy, here we go. Alright. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to leave my controller on the desk. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch my controller until I absolutely have to. We're going to test whether or not this game actually is playable, or if it doesn't even need the player. For those of you who don't know, there was some involvement with this game with Oracle. I've never met anybody who has had a positive story about Oracle, its founder, or its software. I don't know how they got so rich. But yeah, I woke up today, I chose violence, and today that's directed towards Mixtape. So I hope you're along for the ride. Hope you're gonna have fun here. I don't know, I guess basically we're just going to be watching a playthrough of the game because it's going to play itself. I watched about 5 minutes of somebody else doing a playthrough and I was basically screaming at my monitor. I'm not one of the types of people that starts like screaming at things like through the monitor. That's like, you know, not my personality, but this one had me going like, no. Hello, I want to punch something. You know what? We have a punching bag right in front of us, apparently. It's what the good old internet has been saying. Uh-oh, says Nova. Uh-oh, indeed. Uh-oh, indeed. Okay. Here we go. Wait, you know what? Hang on. Alright, I'm pressing A. And there we go. Controller's on the desk. I pressed one button. I heard these characters are, like, deeply unlikable, too.
The compact disc delivers crisp, high-fidelity audio in a portable form factor with a 16-bit signal and a staggering 74 minutes of playtime. It's the sound of the future.
Okay.
Make memories to good music. Invest in quality headphones. Always make a soundtrack, because pretty soon you won't be listening to music. You'll be listening to who you were.
Okay. This is already like, what are we doing here, guys? What are we doing here, boys?
Our last night together in the Big Suck.
Big Suck. That was something we said in the 90s. This is too loud. Oh my god.
A milestone like this requires preparation, a schedule. One must think ahead to experience the now.
Dude, shut up. I can't take it.
High school affair. It's romantic. I want to say something lighthearted, so I say, I bet one of us dies this time.
Shh. I'm cringing.
Oh shit, we're done.
Okay. Riveting gameplay. My hands are off the controller. I'm not touching it. Lacey? I'm touching my mic. You can hear it, right? Let's see what happens.
You almost ate it!
I certainly did, didn't I? Jesus Christ, dude.
Share the road, Airhead!
Oh, I might need to actually press a button. Okay, we actually have to press a button. Oh. Oops. Woo! All right, we press a button. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Oh, that took some skill there. Oh, so it didn't go back that time. Okay.
I got the wobble.
Controller's still down.
Another car. Car.
You would think at least you'd have like a button prompt for the claps, right? Like, am I crazy, or do I think like that would be like a no-brainer? It's just what is this like correction? Why am I allowed to do this? Okay. All right, so this is now we are reaching the end of how much I know about this game. Oops, my bad, I hit my mic.
Subterfuge! Grab on! We'll take you.
Also, how did she get in that car?
You giddy bitch!
Oh my god, dude, you are insufferable.
Tonight, we're invited to Camille Cole's beach party. It's the tits, it's the jam.
Oh, Jesus
Everyone's
Christ.
gonna be there. College kids, rich kids, athletes, boys, girls, skaters. It's teenage high society. Right now,
You
have no
don't
booze,
say.
But we do have some weeds. We'll start at my house, then on to Cassandra's. Free drinks at our secret hideout, then arrive beachside at 9:45 p.m.
Oh, there's like a legendary scene apparently at the end of this game between the girl and her dad, where she basically commits arson. And her police officer dad just says, "Yeah, okay, get out of here." It's like, oh my
Is that
god.
Kyle driving?
Yeah, I thought he was playing football at
Still not touching the
Colorado.
controller.
Maybe he's going to the party.
Think he can buy us some vodka?
I'll ask him.
Oh my god, okay. Oh wait. We got an obstacle. Alright, I barely moved. Okay. It just like literally just recorrected me the entire way over there. Oh, we got another pole. Is it trying to put me into the poles?
Hey,
That's
Kyle.
funny.
Yo, Kyle, buy some vodka? Don't think he heard me.
It really do be trying to put you into the poles.
Your folks home?
My dad's home, yeah.
Lame.
Still haven't put, like, I only touched it like 3 times.
I thought we were riding together.
I didn't want to get all sweaty and shit.
Fair.
Okay, we gotta press buttons now. Okay, wait, so A, B, X, Y, left trigger, right trigger.
You know the music that plays
Okay.
before a concert? Bands always use the same playlist.
I've set the
when
controller
they're
down
setting up
again.
stage. That's because it's a countdown. Roadies know when their jobs begin, when they finish, and when the playlist
Oh my
ends.
god, dude, shut
show
up.
begins.
It's not a movie.
This playlist, the one you'll be hearing
Okay,
today,
hang on.
is
Another
a
pre-rendered
countdown to my last
scene.
night in Blue Moon Lagoon.
Yeah, certainly.
You're still going through with this?
Yep.
Afraid so.
You know
I
it.
leave for the airport at 6 a.m.
You've ruined our road trip.
It's like they're trying to channel the energy of Wes
What's the name of this woman
Anderson
who's tearing us apart?
with none of the soul or heart.
So you fly to New York, you give this
Like,
woman
this
your
is a Wes
mixtape, and
Anderson
what, she
scene,
just
like,
hires you?
Two people who are middle of the scene talking to one another, talking about some bullshit that doesn't fucking matter.
What's
But
a
these people are
music
insufferable
supervisor?
and there's nothing happening in the scene. There's no like.
Imagine before you all the
Okay.
music of human history.
We're going into
Every sonnet,
FMV now.
Symphony, rock song, and radio jingle. A vast gallery of sound. This is the domain of the music supervisor.
I guess.
It's their job to curate a soundtrack that frames and elevates the narrative, whether it's a film, a play, or a television program. Stacey Rockford has wanted to be a music supervisor since 8th grade.
Wonderful.
I'm told her mixtapes are spectacular.
Why couldn't I have played
though
that?
I've never heard one myself.
Once Bella Del Tone hears my mixtape, she'll make me her protege.
Okay.
But why?
If you say so.
Because my mixtapes bend others to my will. It's a strange, almost cosmic talent.
Unbelievable.
You know, this probably has nothing to do
The next
with
track
the
is
voice
Just Like
actress who
Honey
does
by the
this. It's probably got
Jesus and
everything to
Mary
do with the
A
direction,
perfect
but oh
bedroom
my
hangout
god.
vibe. Might be the last time we're all in
Her
my room
voice
together.
is killing me. I don't know what it is. It just seems so smug. I would know. I'm the smuggest person that I know. Okay. We're still not touching the controller.
Sweetie, have you called her sister yet? She could be locked in the airport?
No! Stop pressuring me!
Oh my god, dude. Oh. Oh, we've picked up the controller now. We've walked forward. Oh my god, this is a terrible walk cycle. Do I need to go over here? What's over here? It's a towel.
My hair care products are filth and malevolence.
That hurt to listen to. Okay. Can I just leave? Can I jump out the window? No. Buttons don't do anything else. See, I'm pressing all of them. Nothing. Can I go downstairs? I don't want to talk to these
Not
people.
yet.
Not yet? Why not?
I smiled for every photo before junior year, but then Slater made me metal.
They're righteous, man.
DM17 boombox. Taped a lot of radio on this thing. Now relegated to the hallway.
Okay.
Vague, brown, of unknown origin.
And that was pivotal information for this, by the way.
Get your stash and keep going?
That's a rookie move.
Yeah, have we taught you nothing, Cassandra?
Mm.
We all
I
go up
pressed
to my
the
room and
pressed for the
immediately-
tape deck there.
That giveaway you're
Or
grabbing.
sorry, the
boots.
recorder rather.
Fastest way to get your back checked. 20 minutes.
And they kept
minimum.
talking.
Portishead's debut album, Dummy. A must-have. Cinematic, ambitious, ahead of its time.
Yeah, sure.
Just like me. Plugged a mic into this, tried to record a concert, sucked hard.
Okay. Oh, we're going to... Okay, they want me to pick this up? Got it.
What's that stuff?
A mixtape from Colin Bruce?
No way, lover boy.
Who?
Yeah.
Okay.
He gave me this after the incident. I totally forgot about it.
Put it on.
No, it's not on today's playlist.
Put it on!
Put it on.
Aw, come on.
Okay.
This should do it.
Okay, I'm putting my controller down now.
My first kiss was with Colin Bruce. I didn't like Colin at all.
Thank
but
you.
He was accessible, and honestly, I just wanted to get it out of the way. It was everything I hoped it wouldn't be. The mixtape he made me is.
Are we like
entitled
fourth
Music
wall
That
breaking,
Explains
or are
How
you just
Make Me
explaining
Feel.
this to your friends?
And the opening track is the 10-minute instrumental
Like,
Odyssey,
why?
Galaxy Interior by Atlas Coltrane, released in 1971.
Oh my god, she just keeps talking. Oh, is this the minigame? Oh, this is gonna make me uncomfortable. Oh, this is... Can I skip this? I can't look. I'm closing my eyes. This made me so uncomfortable. Oh god. Oh no. Why are we doing this? Just... Oh, I'm not looking. Oh no. Oh, please, no. Please get done. Just be done. Please be done. Please just be done. Thank you. Oh god. Oh, that was awful.
That's enough.
That's what I'm gonna do with this fucking game after I'm done. Holy shit.
You could put it off, you know, going to New York.
My cash is
Oh,
spent.
I have to play
The time
again.
is now. If I have
Good,
to get
I
a
guess.
job here, shit. I can't
Okay.
work in the fucking kayak.
By the way, that's an instant quit moment for me right there. That mini game. Like, what the fuck? Oh, okay. Never mind, I'm putting my controller down.
Yo, I made us a tape.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Pops!
Oh no.
It's Joe.
Are they gone?
Cop could have ended it right there. Driving with his eyes closed, XD. I know, imagine.
No, 3 jalapeno poppers.
I wish he would have done it.
Slater, you said it was fixed.
It was. They told me it was.
Oh, man.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Okay.
See, they are
Okay,
driving!
something's happening. Almost. Almost. Woo! Back in business, baby.
Okay, well, now stop the car.
Slater! Slater, you fucking hog!
It's probably main character's
Slater!
imagination.
They'll
Well,
be back.
it would be very nice if
I
they would have
think.
been very discernible about when they do and do not
I
go
don't think he's coming
into
back.
imaginative versus factual. I'm going to be super nitpicky. I'm sorry, I woke up and chose absolute violence today. Oh, we're playing again.
Why do you have to leave tomorrow, though?
Because
Only
I hate
time
you
I got a window
guys.
to catch Bella Del Tone. She's back in New York before she bunkers down for summer shoots. I'm gonna bump into her at Roastery on Franklin
I literally
and Broadway.
can't care.
Remember this night?
You actually honestly
the
couldn't
first
pay
time
me to
you
care
snuck
about what
out.
the hell you're talking
There's no
about.
photo somewhere. Huh.
Okay, I just... Okay. Why is it highlighted yellow still? Well, now what? I'm leaving you guys. I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah. Or get me
If I
out.
bail early, my dad will check my bag.
Oh my god, dude. Do I need that? I think I need that. Okay, I think we got
There
it.
you are. Feeling no pain here.
Press B to collect. You got it, brother. Alright, put it up. Oh, is there another one? Oh god. I gotta find another one. Oh, where the fuck is it? Right here? I think that's it. Yeah, give it to me.
It's like 8:30.
Yeah, I
in
don't
this
care.
Photo. Cass is wasted.
Don't care.
That's the thing with strict parents. When their kids finally get out,
Yeah, just
they
put it
go,
on there. Oh, there's another one. Fuck. Is it right there? It is. We found it.
Here's one.
Yep.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
this is where it all started to go wrong.
I'm sure. I'm gonna get in there. Oh, okay. Putting the controller down again. I'll put my feet up. Actually, I can't put my feet up on this table. I'll put my feet up on this table. Oh boy. Alright, feet are up. Show of hands who actually had this happen to them. I don't see any hands raised.
I know! That's why I'm outside with you!
Man, if her dad's out there, she's totally partied out.
No, she's
Wait
drunk.
here.
Where are you
I
going?
hope she's drunk.
Oh, right.
Oh, Jesus.
What are we gonna do?
What's demanded of us?
This is Sensitive to Light by Window.
Oh my god, why the fuck are you still talking to the camera? By the way, my controller is on my desk right now.
Are they following us?
Yup, dude, I can't go to prison.
This is a terrible idea! What are we doing?
If death looks you in the eye, dude, don't blink.
Wow, I sure would have liked to have had a meaningful input there, right? Jesus Christ.
Jumped off! Don't you dare leave me!
You know what, hang on. I'm gonna go check something here real quick.
Here!
I'm trying. Here's all the speed.
Oh, hey! We managed to not die!
Congratulations.
How'd that go? How'd that happen?
You are officially bleeding.
Oh man, dude. No, shit, I forgot something outside again.
As you can see from the stunning pictures coming to you live, a trio of young adults have driven a shopping cart onto the I-19 at high speed. I tell you, Dave, and everyone back there in the studio, I've been reporting in the field for well over 40 years now, and I've only seen this 5 or 6 times.
Oh, let's sit down and play this game. Oh man. Oh, there we go.
I'm listening to Sensitive to
Oh, there we go.
Perfect choice.
Hey, what I missed, by the way. The fuck did they do? I don't know. There's something about a party or something. I couldn't tell when the game was playing itself. I was standing up doing fucking nothing. I'm not kidding you. I literally stood up and walked outside for a little bit. Oh my, holy shit, dude. I couldn't tell you what I did during that entire segment because I didn't do anything. Beanie's definitely a stoner. He most certainly is a stoner. He most certainly is.
At least, that's how I remember it.
By the way, the
Maybe Polly's
that was
sister
all
can use
imagination.
this? She's cool.
Probably.
She's in Italy.
Oh, gotta pick up my
Bitch, why
gotta
aren't
pick
we
up the
in Italy?
controller.
Because you're ditching us to go to New York.
Oh, shut up, bitch. No one fucking cares. Okay, let me set my controller down again. Okay. Oh, my leg's hurting now.
I don't think I've ever seen you without headphones on.
It's stupid.
Man.
It's not stupid. I'm just curious.
Most of the time, if I don't have music on,
You know what? I'm gonna have to
Get
get a
the
drink for
panic.
this. Actually, honestly, do I have any
The
alcohol?
panic.
like,
I do not.
time feels like
Bad.
it's drifting by. I feel like I'm wasting something.
Yeah.
So you try and block it
Wasting
out?
my fucking
It's not
time
like
is what you're
that.
doing.
Sometimes I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to be feeling. Some days I feel nothing at all. But you pick the right song, it holds you in the moment, gives it meaning. Because the music's going somewhere, and
You're not.
going with it.
Hopefully to jail.
Oh, I got you this. You know, as a gift.
Sick. It's got skulls on it. Thank you.
Hey, are you gonna pay for that?
You know how to jet?
Of course.
For what?
Jet!
That's a crazy fucking run animation right there. Oh, hang on, I gotta pick up my controller. Oh, there we go. Oh
got
boy, I
supplies for
can't
tonight?
believe that I have
I got
to.
deodorant, eye clear,
Such a
mouthwash.
high skill cap game. Is this
I got
it?
a yo-yo.
What's a yo-yo?
You know, you.
Oh yeah, because people in the 90s didn't know what a
like an actual
fucking
yo-yo.
yo-yo
Thought it was
was.
code.
Are we done here?
Not
No.
yet. I got no reason to nose about.
Jesus Christ, where do I gotta go? Is that it? Please. Maybe the
Aren't you
skateboard?
trending narrow with small wheels? I'm
Yeah,
against
sure.
it. Bad for ride quality. Aerodisc portable turntable.
Don't care.
More aesthetic than high fidelity. Gets the job done.
What do I do to progress the story? Do I need to talk to him?
Later.
Oh no, there it
You
is.
think you'll ever cut?
Uh,
This is a
cha!
graduation road trip. Or, it was.
You just hit us
We've
with
been
the
planning it since we
unironic
met Cassandra
cha.
freshman year.
I'm gonna head out and I
Blue
won't be
Moon
around
Lagoon to
much
see
because
Glass
I've got to
Museum,
do
bunch
exam
of other crappy
revisions. You know
places.
what?
Down through West
I don't-
Hollywood to check out the vinyl countdown and
I don't
Hot
blame
Rocks,
ya.
Finishing outside Cassandra's college.
I hope
for
you do well in
orientation.
your exam, not gonna
I'll be in
lie.
New York this time tomorrow.
What do I gotta do
Sarah and
here?
Cass are leaving without me.
I don't want to
This has
inspect
been
any
the
of this
cause
shit.
of much friction.
I literally didn't have to inspect any of it.
Is this all you've got? No dubs? No De Bortolini's Pinot Grigio?
Dude, I just bought a plane ticket. I'm broke as shit.
Weak.
Camille Cole's in the new Mariah Carey film clip. Met her and everything.
Huge if true.
When were you talking to the Camille Cole?
She called Jenny's sister.
Jenny fucking Goodspeed? Ugh.
I like how they're talking about people like I
Cole
should
is,
know who
what,
they are.
3 years above us?
Yeah, my sister's year.
Camille Cole told me your sister's freaking wild. We should raid her room for booze.
Maybe.
She's way cooler than you. She'll have booze.
Okay. Sure. Alright, let's go break into the sister's room. Actually, can I just say no to this?
I can't leave yet. I'll get busted.
Okay.
It's weird being in your sister's room.
Yeah, okay.
It's locked. I know why you are here. I'm locked. The key is close.
Mysterious. Cool. Just like your sister.
Shut up. It's just so
No.
quiet in here. I hate that.
No.
Oh god, Jenny fucking Goodspeed is in this photo. She haunts me.
I can't actually. Okay,
What's your
hang
problem
on.
with Jenny?
Okay. Maybe I gotta like. Alright. I'm gonna go check my Discord notifications. Oh, it didn't even. It does not play nicely with this.
No, no way.
I did it last time.
I look like a child. I can't hand over money with these little hands. Slater, you do it. You're the one with the mustache.
To be
Wow,
honest, I
that's a
appreciate
wonderful
what you're
picture.
saying about my stash. It is a wilderness, but no. Today, Cass rides the lightning.
Fine.
Yeah, I will try and make the grandest slushy ever.
As will I. I got a few recipes. Watch and learn.
Let's see. I was just changing the controller. Let's see. Okay, I actually have to do something.
Cola?
I wonder if they're gonna comment on me just filling it all up with one.
I dubbed this one Goblin Techno.
It's not really a recipe. That's like one flavor.
They
Okay,
did.
Stand aside. Once I was the apprentice. Now I am the master. Chair. Are we too hard on Cassandra?
Nah, she could take it.
Cherry. This one's Space Serpent Milk Mash. Contains no milk.
I tip my hat to you, sir. A revolution.
What are you doing?
Oh, hey Jenny, we're making slushy recipes. It's like sport.
Cool.
Were you out front of the Cineplex last night?
Oh yeah, I saw.
I like how
something with aliens.
they just didn't
It was
even make
boring.
any mention
Close
while it was
Encounters
happening.
3.
Oh, what a soundtrack, huh? All the time.
I don't really listen to the music. I just watch it.
I know everything I need to know about you.
Oh, did someone
sure.
draw on your shirt?
Oh yeah, I did. It's a wizard engulfed in a celestial aura.
That's so cool.
Hey, Jenny.
Cassandra, your bangs are hot.
Oh my god, thank you.
Are you gonna come with us to Mickey's?
I'll try and convince my dad. It's a maybe.
Be there. Nice to see you.
God, I hate Jenny fucking Goodspeed.
I cannot believe how much of this game I just don't have to play.
Why do I hate Jenny fucking Goodspeed? I got my
Like, this is
reasons.
ridiculous.
I've got us getting
Like,
to
they
the
really
party at
wanted to just make a
9:45.
movie.
Do we deem this?
Why
a
didn't
cool
they just make a
arrival time?
movie?
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
A concert ticket. I wonder who is playing. Must be in here somewhere.
Okay. Okay, get this out of here. I can't take it out, can I? Okay. I would be fair, yeah. I remember doing the slushy mix thing 100%. Hey, there we go.
Found it.
Give that to me. Okay.
Oh, crashing waves at the Coliseum. What?
I just wonder, like, what the
Damn.
thought
I
process
wish we could have
was,
gone.
We did go.
and
I
not
didn't go.
like
Yeah, we went with Rockford's sister. Big Rockford.
forcing engagement
It was
with it, though.
before we hung out.
Huh. What did you guys even do before I came along?
You know, just
That's weird. Discord is
Hung
saying
out
that
at
I
the
am now
mall.
currently playing Helldivers and not sharing it. That is not true at all. This is not Helldivers. Very discernibly.
I've got like $8 left.
no, I got it. So, let's get real ugly.
I'm gonna see what happens. Are they gonna force me to do something? I think I'm being forced to do something. Okay. Okay.
Great composition.
Another one?
Could be our album cover. Do you envision anything
All
when you're
right.
posing like a mood or tone?
Press right trigger. Got it.
No,
Yeah, me neither.
I think I blinked.
Nice. What song would be the
Okay.
soundtrack of tonight?
Wichita Toe by Harper's Bazaar. Released in 1969.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
I just don't understand, like, what the point of all of this is. I'm struggling to feel. I'm struggling to understand why this had to be a game. I'm struggling to understand where are we going with this.
Yeah. We didn't give it too much.
Okay. Can I have the key, please? I came in here for a key. Bro.
It's just so.
No, I already...
quiet in
Is
here.
it behind this thing?
I hate that.
Oh. No, that's not
This
what
is
I
my
want.
sister, Debbie Rockford.
Yeah. What gets me is Life is Strange. There was the right blah, 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 was right. There is an inspiration on how to handle normal life games. I agree. And it's like, you know, you can say what you want about Life is Strange. You can love it, you can hate it for any reason, whatever you want. At the end of the day, there was a lot more things going on behind Life is Strange than whatever this is. Because at least you can make different choices on how different scenes played out. Your choices kind of mattered from episode to episode. I just feel like nothing I do really matters here. Which is kind of revelative, in my opinion, of what, like, a game should be. It's like, is this individually, as it is, a terrible game?
Stacey,
No,
if
it's
you're reading
reasonably,
this, it means
reasonably
you're
and
right. Find your
competently
own
put
closet for
together.
this.
It's true.
I knew
Its
this
story
day.
is boring.
I saw it in a dream.
Fourth wall breaks
And
are
so
kind of
I
weird.
placed this letter here,
It's not really...
Stacey, to tell her this. Your time in
Like this
Blue
game is an
will not last forever.
unabashed
Life
meh.
changes quickly. Leave nothing unsaid. I'll call you
It
from New
has
York.
something that it's
I love
trying
you,
to
and
say.
you'll be fine. Kisses, kitten. P.S.
But
for
it
booze,
seems like
check
they're
Dutch's
just
phone.
really bad at saying it.
Whoa. Look at that stash.
So naturally,
is
it's an IGN 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Even though it should probably be like
Clue, I
a
guess.
5 or a
We've been to the
6.
Ritz 1,000 times. There's nothing there.
Obviously, it's hidden. She must have left more clues.
Another mystery from Debbie Rockford. It's like when she gave us the map.
Yeah.
The map.
Is that so, brother?
How long ago was that?
3 years ago. The day she left.
Like, on a gameplay perspective, though, which is what I'm more concerned about, why am I here?
Got a ways to go.
Like, this has more cutscenes than a Metal Gear Solid
Where did you
game.
leave the map?
On my desk.
You sure your sister left it?
I mean, the morning she leaves for college, the map.
Alright, I finally get to play. Yeah?
Damn, your sister's cool. What do you think it leads to? Booze?
Who knows?
Elaborate, sleepy booze.
Porn?
Ew. Why would she leave me porn?
Well, there's a porn stash in a bush out past left field at the Belmont Diamond.
I'm
Did you
sure
see it?
you would know that.
Yeah.
Okay, brother.
Poor quality.
And what? You all just sit around looking at it with your boner sticking out?
It's not like that. It's a rite of passage, a glimpse into the seedy underbelly of suburban America.
Why does everyone talk normal except for the main
We don't
character,
get outside much.
We're outside
who
all the
sounds
time.
What,
like
in alleys
a
and bus
surfer bro
stops?
in a 90s movie?
I'm not made for this Rocky Mountain high
It's
shit.
probably where
Docile, lowlands.
most of their research material for this game came
I
from.
don't own shorts. Slater, are shorts metal?
Are we jumping? The fuck are we doing?
Industrial military derived clothing metal,
Maybe it's this way.
though?
Oh, this way. Alright, I
don't
found it.
fucking know.
Okay. Are you just gonna crowd me there?
There's a fucking.
I know a lot of
train
places
there.
like this, by the way. It's very nice to be out in nature like this. Like, she's actively mimicking
I
a movie
wanna
on purpose.
investigate.
That's probably, I would think, probably what they were going for. Because they wanted to probably make it a little bit
ever
more
think about buying a
cinematic, so they
motorcycle and
borrow
just
pretty heavily from. Okay, I'm gonna put my
Going
controller down
wherever
now.
the road takes you?
Oh no, never mind.
I hate motorcycles.
Borrows
Sure,
heavily
but,
from
like,
cinematic tradition,
A car or whatever.
which is
No,
why I'm just
I
saying
don't
it's like,
think you
why didn't you just
understand my stance on bikes.
why didn't you just
I
make
wanna
me
make
watch
this
a
clear.
movie instead
Tell
of
me all about
playing
it.
a game? Because I'm basically watching a movie
Motorcycles
thinly
are for me,
veiled as a
okay?
game.
Bikes suck on a philosophical level. The loud ones, anyway.
Why? Bikes are hot.
No, they're not. They're lame. It's all about the privilege of loudness.
Okay.
They're all
Okay.
talking about stuff that's just like,
Loudness is earned. You're a singer on
It is not
stage,
endearing
you're a
at
politician
all
or
to me.
someone. There's a situational awareness to loudness. There's circumstance to it because loudness is a rare and precious commodity.
nah, I'm
Right?
saying it's
Right.
like the main character is doing
Not
it on
everyone
purpose.
gets to be
They could have
loud.
been
You
the
gotta earn
direction.
it. But motorcycles,
If that were the
defy
directions,
loudness,
they definitely
and
did.
thus
They nailed
They
it.
suck.
Wow. Okay. But, you know, a road trip would be awesome. Just us three.
I'm down.
We could go wherever we wanted.
I'm there.
Like, what are we doing right now, guys? There's a spot. It's that obvious. I know, right?
What a summer, huh?
It's gonna last 1,000 years.
I think we're supposed to go all the way to the far side of the fields.
Okay.
Well, should we float out there?
Let's
Start a new life?
go. Oh no, he said
Let's
float.
waste an afternoon.
It's never a waste.
I remember seeing something like that. It's like they tried to be an experimental game, and honestly, I'll give people credit for trying to be an experimental game. Without, like, knowing what a game is. Okay. I fell. Not gonna lie, I could see somebody. Why are they running back towards me? I could see somebody having fun with this aspect of it. It's not for me for sure, but this is the most gameplay that I've actually encountered in the game. I don't even have to jump though, which is kind of concerning. I'm actually just holding forward. Maybe small micro adjustments here and there. I think they're playing the same animation too. Actually, what happens if I just hit forward? I'm really not a fan of this going back and forth between, like, imagination and non-imagination. Maybe it's too artsy-fartsy for me. Oh, we got some poppin'. Is that a system problem or is that a game problem?
Hey, check it out. Oh, man.
This is very Rebel without a cause, by the way. Frolicking through a meadow and having flowers pop out behind you. Oh, I think I'm close to having about just enough of this.
It's the fucking Ritz.
Yeah, but shitty. Filthy. Like us.
This could be our kingdom.
We could get fucked up here.
Okay.
I can't believe she never told me about this. Maybe she thought I'd squeal.
You've gotta throw a party.
No. We can't tell anyone.
Why not?
As soon as one loser talks, that's it. Every parent starts looking for their shitty kid here.
Right on. What is coolness if not exclusivity?
My sister trusted us with this place. This is our bit of the big suck. No one can know about it.
Totally.
I will take it to my grave.
I'm gonna put my controller down now. Okay, she's down. So did that actually happen or not?
It's time.
Okay, so it did happen.
Close to my house, amigos.
Wait, did it? I can't tell.
Slater! Shut my door!
Goodbye. Stacy's room.
Oh, I just got an achievement. Interesting.
This is Monochrome by British group Lush off their second album, Spooky. It's a fat whale of a song. Lush were one of the first bands to be called shoegaze. It's heavy, but it's nonchalant, like my friend Cassandra. Cass was pretty tame up until freshman year. Then she chose rebellion. I remember it well.
Hmm. I'm kind of feeling my brain leak out of my ear right now.
Yeah?
My dad said I shouldn't hang out with you.
Okay.
Who's your dad?
He's a cop.
Oh, sweet. Reputation.
He thinks you're the ones who spray painted the Reagan statue, that you're shoplifters.
And that makes you want to hang out with us? Is that right?
I've decided to disappoint my parents.
Dope.
Okay.
This year, I want to ride a flaming stallion of delinquency.
Yes.
What's your name again?
Hey, go eat a dick!
Cassandra shows great promise.
Camille's
Hit
party's
it.
at the beach. Do we need towels?
Score!
Why, you gonna go swimming?
Almost
I'm not
needed my
planning
input
on
there.
it.
I never plan my swims. They're all spontaneous.
Does a beach party imply swimming?
I think it's a constant threat, yeah.
Oh, we're gonna hit the car? We did. We hit the car. We actually have to move. I did not move the controller there. That was all the game. Okay. Actually, it's literally not letting me shoot the gap there. Alright, I actually had to play the game for a second. Alright, controller's back down. Oh, there's 2 places to go, actually. Oh, bro, come on. There we go. That is so interesting that it makes you hit the rail. And that's an end. Okay, I gotta jump. It's actually kind of hard to control. Alright, I made 1 jump. Okay. And we're back. Oh! I actually have to play this one now. That's huge. We actually got some gameplay. Alright, hang on.
He's bombing the whole hill?
Too late to turn back now.
Okay. Alright, my controller's down now. Oh! Okay, my controller is actually now down again. He should have hit that car. Are you gonna make me go? Oh, I actually have to control my controller again. Alright, credit where credit is due. I've had to actually make a lot of controls on this one. Some consequences. Alright, controller's down though. That was an awkward animation. There's no button to go low, it just does it for you itself. Okay? I didn't have to jump there, it jumped for me. Okay. I did not make any adjustments. The game just auto-adjusted there for me. Okay. You know, if I had done this when I was a kid, I'm pretty sure I would have gotten my ass kicked. I think this game might actually be able to beat itself. You know, if it does micro adjustments like that, this game might actually be able to beat itself. If I just let it run.
Which way did you go? Through the new estate. Badass. I thought you got hit by a truck.
Alright, come on. This has gone on a little too long. Let's see if it micro adjusts. It actually bounced me there. I hit a different spot. It'll take it forever, but it will beat itself. My god, it literally is. I literally just disconnected my controller. It's not even connected anymore. Hang on, I gotta get it connected. It literally did just, it autocorrects itself. I don't think I'm even necessary. We're gonna test this theory. If it gets out of this loop, and one more try, it's literally actually kind of looping in a weird way. Yeah, it's gonna make it out of the loop. It unlooped itself. You're kidding me, right? Little rough sometimes. We're only testing this because I'm almost done with this stupid game. It did it. It got out of the loop itself. My mind is actually blown right now.
You know, I got a good feeling about tonight. It's gonna wail.
It might take like 6 hours.
I do have a certain aura about me.
And you are needed in some spots. But it will just play itself. Okay. I think that's about it for me. Where's the fucking return to menu? Okay. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. We are going to get into our regularly scheduled reactions. But first, I need to do something real quick. Oh, no. I need to get into my Steam and request a refund. I'm not keeping this game. Oh, that game kind of gave me, I have to do the Roach King. I think I gotta lay down after that. Support. Boom. Okay. Well, that was awful. All right. Perfect. Let's move on to our regular reactions. We've done our penance. We played the game. Let's see what the internet is saying about it. Spoiler alert. They're not happy.
It's funny to me.
We're going to start off with Endymion, see what he has to say about it. Then, I think we're probably going to do the Legendary Drops video. And then we got some stuff about the Steam Machine and some stuff about Slay the Spire. I might get into a Moon video today or a Sydney video. I kind of want to do the Moon video because it's true that Instagram and all the other websites are kind of creating idiocracy. I'm kind of curious about where that's going. And I believe it. I agree with it. So Endymion released 2 videos on this, by the way. This is the older one, and the other one's getting into a little bit more of a backlash. So I'm curious where this is going to go. Let's see Endymion.
Websites and such be hypocrites so often like this, but it's never been more on the nose and goofy to me than what has happened surrounding this game called Mixtape. Maybe you've heard of it. Twitter is losing their minds over
we
the
just
game
played
currently,
it.
and I personally looked into the game myself, and it's very obvious, and you can immediately tell why games like this are being so loved by journalists all over. You see, IGN
Let me guess. It's because you don't have to actually play them.
gave Mixtape a 10 out of 10. GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10. Overall, the game is reviewing very well. And yet the online reaction to this game existing
10 out of
is
10s.
putting people into 2 very specific groups.
You know what? We're going to remind everybody because, like me, everybody has the mind of a goldfish. Stellar Blade got a 7 out of 10. Black Myth Wukong got an 8 out of 10. Oh, let's see. Concord had a 7. I think you get the point. This is an IGN 10. This is 10 out of 10 quality.
One side saying that games can be whatever they want to be, and the other is just kind of rolling their eyes. I'm not really sure if I'm in either camp, honestly, but I do think the whole thing is kind of tiring if I'm being real. In case you're thinking, what even is this game?
Honestly, I'm not going to lie. If I'm going to be completely honest, this game kind of really sapped all the energy out of me.
Well,
probably because I went into it thinking I wasn't going to like it. I'm going to be cards on the table. I already had my preconceived notions about it. But man.
Mixtape is about 3 soon-to-be adults experiencing their last hurrah before they get, swallowed up by the real world and all that stuff. There's a few plot lines in the game from we need to get booze, and then one of the main characters having to stand up to their cop dad. Which, yep, of course, that's one of the stories, because why wouldn't it be? Because don't you know that cops are bad people? They're evil, says the latte-drinking journalist.
I heard that the cop was portrayed like an asshole too, which is, I guess, par for the course, really, if you sit down and think about it. But it's just like, I can't imagine the normal lay gamer is looking at this going, yeah, this is a must play.
Who will call said police the moment they feel threatened by anyone, despite hating the so-called
like a 10 out of 10 is
institution
something
that employs people that do that.
A 10 out of 10 is something that I would assume would be like a must play for everybody. Like, it's astounding to me that that's where we're at here.
Job. Yep, I can tell why the game's media loves Mixtape, because it's everything they love without realizing themselves that it exposes their own hypocrisy pretty well, actually. You see, for a game's media that routinely loves to stare down and spit on player enjoyment whenever you're having it, stuff like Stellar Blade, Black Myth Wukong, and especially recently with Lords of the Fallen 2,
That's funny that he picked those two, because I picked those two too. I mean, I guess it's like a pretty good litmus test.
The moment a game comes out that they like this, you may or may not have seen the scene from Mixtape where one of the main characters has a flashback sequence where they reminisce about
are we going to talk about this?
With a guy
oh my god, that was so uncomfortable to play. That was so fucking uncomfortable. I don't think you understand. Having to like sit through that, I closed my eyes. I was like, I can't fucking deal with this. That was so awful. I don't know what it was. It grossed me out. I don't know what I couldn't watch it.
That they like. And it's recreated in this, cringe moment, really, where the tongues of both these characters can be openly controlled by you, the player, to flick and touch each other for as long as you want them to, until they hit the button to move on to the next sequence. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, here's the clip, and in advance,
no, please.
I'm sorry if this grosses you out,
no,
but
please don't.
It's important for the context
don't play
here,
it.
so
No,
guess
please don't
watch
put me through
this.
it again.
Just a little edit here.
Oh,
Actually,
God.
I can't play the audio
I can't
here, but
watch
as you can see, it is two teenagers.
I'm not watching.
using
My
their
eyes are
tongues to
closed.
kiss one
I'm sorry,
another.
I can't
So,
do it.
Yeah, usually there will be audio here in terms of the music, but apparently it's copyrighted. So
Oh yeah,
there
like all
you
this thing's
go.
copyrighted.
Now let's
I bet.
go on with the video, but yeah, it's pretty.
Oh, just
gross.
please tell me when
Yeah,
it's
so that's a
over.
part of
Thank
the
God.
mixtape. Look, I get it.
That's the other thing too, is like they can hide behind a lot of the issues with this game behind it being copyrighted, which is like completely, like, I understand putting copyrighted music into it, but it's just like, wow, it's so funny that would have, like, what are the odds?
Okay, they're teenagers. It's meant to be awkward. I mean, Kotaku had a whole.
God, how much
article,
do
as
they
you
pay
can
for the
see
rights
there,
for that
talking
stuff?
to the team behind Mixtape about how they made that very tongue-flicking scene. As the creative director said there, we were talking about ways of using the medium to feel things that you wouldn't usually feel in a video game, like being grossed
Yeah, because that's what I want to feel when I play a video game, brother.
out and awkward and embarrassed. It's a really teenage experience, the first kiss, and it goes for
That's not. Oh God.
too long, and it's just foul, and we spent ages getting like the ropes of saliva to work.
I don't think that these people actually. Oh my God, did you really? Wait a minute. I just processed what was said there. Anyway, I'm moving on. I'm moving on from that. I'm not gonna let my. Nope. Not gonna touch that. I don't even know where I was going.
A particle system and stuff like that, and I really feel like
They
we got
stunlocked
across
me.
what we were trying to convey. I would say, yeah, they succeeded really in making that scene gross because a lot of people had visceral reactions to it, so mission accomplished there.
Right, but like, okay. There's one thing to be a gross out scene, sure, whatever. But it's a completely other thing when like you're trying to say that is like you're giving the exact feeling that you had. I bet you this person's never kissed another person before. Just by like their way of trying to describe that, I don't think they have.
But it's also very telling and kind of ridiculous to me that the same games.
Do they really think you don't normally feel grossed out or awkward in a video game? Obviously, they don't play games. They're games reviewers.
Harps on other games for having sexual-esque themes to be problematic or gross. Yet here we have Mixtape and it's totally fine. It's barely even an inconvenience. It's also stupid because this game has released during the same news cycle as many websites also unifying to attack games like Lords of the Fallen 2. If you don't know, as seen here, Lords 2 has added female...
This is what I want in a video game. This is a video game.
Armor sets that show off skin on fully grown adult female bodies.
Yep.
These armor sets, however, were met with vitriol and disdain from the very same website.
Oh yeah,
praising
same people.
Mixtape for its, sexual content. Push Square, for example, as you can see there, called the Lords 2.
Which, by the way, on the one hand we have full-ass grown women, and on the other hand we got whatever Mixtape is doing. I pick a side, gamer.
Armor embarrassing, saying that it was unrealistic and too provocative.
Yeah,
Even
who
Kotaku,
cares?
who just released that article praising Mixtape's tongue simulator moment, had this about Lords 2 as well, where they call the armor in that game, again, on fully grown adult women to be gross and sexual.
Yeah, I'm sure, dude. Okay. What a... Oh my God.
Very telling and weird to me that the very same publications that are praising
Galvatron is the director, not a reviewer, and he's in his 40s, presumably. I mean, I don't even know. Like, if he's a director, I mean, it's same energy, honestly, from my side. Probably doesn't, like, not plugged into the greater games community. It really is like it's a sap on the energy to have to like
able to turn on their own
even have
morals
this game
when
in
it
my
comes to
brain.
other games they don't like Lords of the Fallen 2. It's also very weird to me that they always have a problem when consenting fully grown women who aren't children wear revealing outfits or show any sort of skin at all. But when two teenagers who are underage in a game are swapping spit with each other,
they
and
have
you
to
control
praise
it with
that.
your own free will, and it just goes on for as long as you want to, no less. That's instead seen as an amazing moment in a video game that everybody must love and praise. And weird how that works, isn't it? Why are you okay with underage kids making out in video games, Kotaku?
It's a good question.
But you shudder at the idea of adult women
With no
wearing
implication
armor that shows their
whatsoever.
skin. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Almost a bit hypocritical even. Again, I don't think Mixtape is a bad game. I don't have any ill will towards the developers or anything like that. Nobody should boycott it. It's whatever. But
I'm going to give a completely honest review of it. It should be a 5 out of 10. maybe 6 on a good day. It's not a terribly put together game. It's not fun, in my opinion. It kind of goes against what a game should be, and you're basically playing a movie. There's plenty of games out there like that. This one fell flat for me. I did not like it. I thought a lot of it was insufferable and pretentious, and I would know because I'm the most insufferable and pretentious person that I know. But if you like it, you like it, whatever. I don't care. It is not a 10 out of 10. That's where a lot of people have the issue. Is that there is a massive disconnect, in my opinion, between the lay gamer and the people trying to push this as like the next coming of Jesus.
I do just find that it's in these moments that we really do end up.
I think experience is a better name than a game.
Games media who
I think you're right.
Their opinions
That's what I was trying to say. It's like I'm not really like. There's two different types of experimental games in the sense that some of them I really, really like. But this is not an experimental game that I would say is like good at all. And I'm using experimental as in the experience part, not experimental as in somebody's experimenting with something.
Matter. Because you and I both know this level of leeway is not equally given to just anyone.
Nope.
The Japanese games industry had a moment in a Japanese game where 2 underage characters were swapping spit, the entire game's media would be losing their collective minds.
Oh yeah,
they
would
be calling it PE, you know what?
I feel like they've done it before.
They would lambast whichever game tried to do that. Hell, if some Japanese game added the exact same mixtape-like tongue-sloshing moment in their game that was between, let's say, 2 consenting adult female characters who were of age, right? The game's media would still find that gross. Yet here, it's fine. Because why exactly? They're teenagers? Does that not go against the fundamentals of what these sorts of publications deem to be their philosophies? You know, just a little bit maybe.
Like walking simulators are still games because you have to interact with the world to progress the story, but it doesn't really technically need you to interact with progress. You're right about that. Like I said, but again, there is a difference between this and a walking simulator game, right? Where a walking simulator game, at least in my opinion, has a lot of other things going for it in like terms of story, maybe character progression, maybe characters themselves. None of that really kind of like translated here. And I don't know what the general rating for those are, but I can't think that any of them are really getting 10 out of 10s on the regular, right?
Storylines of this game
I could be wrong.
One of the 3 main characters stands up to their comp
but I don't think they do.
Of course, for a very liberal games media. F the police is very much a stance that they all kind of stand by while living in their homes with, you know, locks on their doors. A phone call away from calling.
Like I said earlier, or like we said earlier, I think the best
whenever they feel scared
point of comparison would be like
really surprise
Life
me
is
to see
Strange.
Mixtape get the scores
and let me see what Life is Strange was. I'm curious. What did IGN score Life is Strange? 8.5 out of 10. Which
because it's being so very obvious.
I think this game
the game's media
is not as good as Life is Strange
because it enforces what they want to see more in video games. It also doesn't surprise me because Mixtape, unsurprisingly, is a game that practically plays itself. There's plenty of clips online where players are showing that they don't even have their hands on the controller, and yet the game is just playing itself in its entirety. Kyle, for example, played the game himself.
Edith Finch was a walking sim, and it's almost always scored high.
I'm not steering, so we'll see how it goes.
Dude, I can't go to prison.
I literally just did this.
So I'm not really doing anything.
I'm
not really touching.
I think I've actually watched a video by Kale before. Whatever his name is. I remember catching him a while ago, but I haven't watched something by him in a really long time. But I guess he had the same experience as I did, I guess, if you can call it an experience. I don't know what the Edith Finch is, though, because I've never really played it, but...
Anything, I'm not really
I'm sure it's a lot better than this. No, I literally stood up. I stood up and left my room.
This is really unbelievable. So I don't have to do it. This is me clapping my hands here.
Yep, there you go, brother. Hell yeah, brother.
This is why IGN loves this, I guess. Because, you know,
Hell yeah.
This is the clap stream for me. This is and wow, dude. Look,
You might as well
what a
just
game,
leave
huh?
and go do something else, or just put it on the background for somebody.
Isn't this the craziest thing ever? You just help me steer. The AI is helping, bro.
So as you saw, you don't have to do much when playing.
Bro.
It's barely even a video game. All the so-called danger is just window dressing. It's the perfect game, if you will, for games journalism. Because you can't lose. You require zero skill to play it, and you can complete
Just
it
make
by,
a fucking
by
movie.
literally not even touching the controller. Which has led to a lot of people online asking, well then, why is this a video game? Why indeed? dear
Interestingly
internet?
enough,
Because
Egypt Finch
I
was
agree
also
with you,
published
Ash.
by
This
Anna
is
Perrin,
basically a Netflix
and
movie
easily
with the most
mogs this as a
surface-level
walking
gameplay
sim.
interaction we have seen in a hot
Again, I have a conspiracy theory. Is completely unfounded. I think that because of the people who were involved in making this specific game, it probably was pushed a lot more heavily than most other games. I think they may have made a mistake. I think they probably should have requested rather, paid for is a better word. They should have paid for an 8.5 out of 10. And I bet you that all the people talking about this game go away.
in it. It's as if the interactive movie game, which has been a genre for a long time, I know that, is almost, I guess,
It's like a Vanity
regressing
10.
even. I mean, there's an audience for games like this. I mean, Detroit Become Human comes to mind. However, Detroit is, at the very least, a real video game that has, replay value and
has
actual
decisions
choices that matter. Like in Detroit, your characters' lives are quite literally in your hands as you play that. You get to decide who lives and dies.
Was it
What
Risk of
happens
Rain,
to
is it?
whoever is in the game, and it's really up to you whether anyone makes
Heavy
it to
Rain.
the credits or not. And
Heavy
then
Rain.
you can replay Detroit and do a completely different playthrough, or maybe you want to see how badly you can ruin the characters' lives in the game as fast as possible too. Or maybe you want to make them all survive, make them all villains. It's all up to you, right?
What's that
your
other
player
one? The
choice.
the
There's
one where it's a
actual
horror
intricate
film?
systems at work there that also permeate through the entire game structure. So I get that. I'm not going to harp on Detroit or say something like, Heavy Rain is bad, because these games, at the very least, actually allow for distinct player choice, which in
There is a component of gameplay. You have to make choices that just irrevocably change the direction of the story going forward. That is the draw and the appeal of these games. That's perfectly fine. If they want that, people want that in a game, go for it. It's not what this game did.
my opinion, is important when you're playing a video game, especially one that's like
Broad
that.
description?
Because player choice.
You're gonna have to
and you
remind me what broad
interacting in a
description
way
was,
that is
'cause
beyond surface
Goldfish
level
Brain is
nonsense
now
what differs
activated.
A game from, say, a movie or TV show. Mixtape is, come on, it's barely even a video game. It's borderline just a movie where you have to hold a controller at times to just justify its existence.
I mean, the worst part is it's just fucking boring.
You also just can't fail in Mixtape, because anytime you deliberately actually go out of your way to fail the game, like say running into a car while you're on your skateboard or something, the game just stops everything, it rewinds you back, and then just makes you play again so that you can avoid it this time, which at that point,
Most
if
of the
there's
time it
really no
corrects itself.
consequence, there's no actual choices that matter, then why is this even a video game? And again, not just a movie. I think it's pretty simple.
The one
It's
that was a
because
horror
these sorts
game?
of games
Yeah,
are-
no, it was a one where you had to make the decisions. It was basically like Heavy Rain. I think it was even done by the same studio. And then they made a movie. I think they made a movie about it. But I don't remember what it was called. I never played these games. It was on PlayStation 4, I think. So I don't remember them, but I remember there was one that was like a horror movie that was basically a horror movie, and you had to try to keep everybody alive or something.
like catnip to the game's journalist types. It reinforces what they want in games, which is essentially they want Netflix movies with achievements. They don't want
Until Dawn,
games
there
that
you go.
really
That's
challenge
it.
them
Yep.
either. They're kind of akin to a grandma who really likes Candy Crush but looks really confused at like Super Mario jumping. It's not that it's a bad thing. It's more so just eye roll worthy. It also dilutes what video games are meant to be, which is,
That's an interesting
not
that's an interesting direction to come from this. I never thought about it like that, but I can explore it for a second. Where this dilutes the actual value of what a video game is, because in this being called a video game, it takes away the actual like creative environment, or rather creative endeavor, that a video game is, and waters down and distills its aspects to something that it's not. I wonder I wonder if there is a grander conspiracy. Probably not. This would be complete projection on my part, but I wonder if there's a grander conspiracy here where they are attempting to kill the medium of video games by making video games what they are not, an absolute garbage. That would be interesting. It's probably not happening, but interesting food for thought.
Barely thinly disguised Netflix slop. What this backlash or controversy, I guess, comes down to really is how you have two completely different visions for what video games are meant to be, and how the games journalists reward one side of the aisle far better despite being less game than the other ones. Again, Mixtape got a 10 from IGN, yet you have Crimson
Mixtape
Desert,
is not a game. Mixtape is
a 6 out of 10. And that's okay? Not really.
It's a soapbox for their political ideology.
Desert. Mixtape is like designed for that one guy who couldn't beat the Cuphead
soft
tutorial.
Political ideology.
It's as if we're reaching the event horizon of slop is the point.
Cuphead tutorial mentioned.
People want mechanics and player agency and real systems and depth. And places like IGN, they want cinematic experiences that are guided narratives or interactive television pretty much. And yet again, we are finding ourselves at the intersection of stupid because the gaming media is absolutely fascinated about a game where they barely have to play it at all. While everybody else is thinking, where's the actual game? To be fair, Mixtape has a style, its presentation is polished, the music-driven atmosphere is strong, I get that. And that's going to work for some people.
Everything around the game is strong. Or everything, like every individual aspect of it, except for a few, is strong. The way it looks, the way it sounds, the way it's presented, solid. How it plays, absolute dog shit. Its characters, absolute dog shit. Its messages and themes, some people may or may not disagree. I think it's absolute dog shit.
People, it's not really the issue here. The issue is the pattern that surrounds games like this.
Yep.
Because every time a heavily cinematic, mechanically light game experience appears that doubles down and enforces the belief systems of these journalists, they immediately treat these sorts of games like they are the future of the medium. But if you ask me, if we reward and believe that games like a Mixtape are the future of video games, we are essentially advocating for the removal of what
literally
makes
don't
video
have to
games
press
interesting
anything
in the first place. You know, what defines them even. Because for many, gameplay is not
you could
some
just
secondary
let it
feature
go
in a game. It is the foundation.
So what's the point of
what
having
it
the
is.
button prompt?
It's the unique thing that separates games from every
Not
other
that everything has to have a point, I
entertaining medium in the
guess,
world.
but like
And when
still.
you remove or dilute what is the core reason to play a game, the meaningful interactivity, I mean, you're now not leveraging what makes games unique anymore. And yet, over the last decade and then some, we have seen a growing trend where some of the loudest praise in gaming media goes towards titles that, you know, minimize gameplay friction in favor of stuff like the narrative flow or the scripted sequences that you can't fail and the highly curated experience overall that barely has any variations to it like whatsoever. I'm not saying that Mixtape
I'm always in awe of arguments that come from saying we need to minimize narrative friction in a game when the entire medium is all about that. It's literally presenting friction to you that the player has to, you know, move through and navigate around. And that's kind of the point of the medium. And I think that kind of proves the point with the success of like games like the Soulsborne games, where it's just like in a sea of games that were coming out at the time that adhered to this ideology of minimizing friction in order to tell a story, it very unashamedly just said, no, we are going to put the wall in front of people, have fun. And guess what happened? It became one of the most phenomenal and seminal, or they became some of the most seminal games of our generation. Imagine how that worked.
It can't exist, but what I am saying is we need to be honest with ourselves and realize that by these journalists praising these sorts of games with the inflated scores that apparently bring it in line with the greatest games of all time somehow, they are just trying to actualize and push something to become the meta when again, it's
I don't know,
barely
man.
a video
I'm
game
not a
at the best of
conspiracy
times.
Andy for this
not
one.
to mention for a game set in the 90s,
I think
the
it's
game
just a bunch of
routinely also uses
standalone
phrases and ways of talking.
I think it's just a bunch of standalone developers kind of just saying whatever the hell they want to say and not really guided by I would say by a structure. Their structure is their ideology. And it's kind of like a shame
talking that are sort of 2026 coded, which is against the time period that it takes place in. I get it, right? These conversations are new. We've seen this before with walking simulators or heavily cinematic AAA games. But instead of asking, is this going to be the future? I think what we need to be asking is, what should gaming truly prioritize these days? Because there's a growing perception among many that parts of the industry are no longer valuing something like gameplay as the core pillar of the medium. Which, with Mixtape getting 10s, yeah, that kind of proves this. Instead, it feels like games are increasingly getting praised for just feeling, I guess, safe or cinematic, but it's never about the gameplay. Because the gameplay in Mixtape is very, very surface level. Like this game,
I can kind of understand that. That definitely does kind of, as a gamer, that makes me upset. Where it's just like, dude, guys, come on. Like, tell me about how the game plays, not about what it is. I don't know. It's very frustrating to always have to deal with not actually addressing how the game actually plays and only addressing everything around it. Like as a gamer. I mean, obviously it's a little bit different when you're going to content creators, which is again another reason why I think most content creators are more trusted over games journalists, because they actually play the game. They actually talk about like how it feels to play rather than like all of the other bullshit that people generally don't want to interact with anyway. Interesting how that works. Yeah, there are going to be standouts like, BioShock mentioned. There's going to be standouts like BioShock where the story transcends the gameplay, but the gameplay still was good to begin with. The story just added an extra layer of incredibleness to the already good game.
Game is perfect for people who don't want to buy it or support it either, by the way. It's kind of the perfect, you can just watch this on YouTube kind of game, because again, it's like 2 hours long. Has basically no gameplay that is remotely challenging, and you can just watch it.
Like, why didn't they just make a movie?
Again, a Netflix movie or something.
Yeah, just make a fucking movie.
I don't really think Mixtape will make much money in the end anyways. Like, the game is $20. But even on Steam, the game, despite the conversation surrounding it right now, as you can see, the game currently has about 2,167 players.
I don't think, and this is going to sound weird, I don't think this game was made to make money. I think this game was legitimately made because somebody just wanted to make the game. I don't know, like, to what end they wanted to make the game. Maybe they just wanted to put something out there. Sure, whatever. I don't think this was made to make money.
I record this. I know it's an indie game, so they don't need 100,000 concurrent people to be successful, but still, it's not exactly,
well, they had to have paid a lot of money for
pretty
probably all the royalties for the music.
By games journalists,
I would think.
Cinematic games are often far easier to discuss critically as well, because they resemble the traditional media structure that everybody's already familiar with. It's like discussing a film's pacing or a television show's dialogue, right? The emotional arcs and the carefully managed tone. They're all going to be pretty much the same for everybody, as if they were just, again, watching a movie, because, well, that's kind of what they're doing anyways. This makes it far easier to analyze through the same frameworks that critics already use for, say, movies and television, like I said, because anyone can watch a movie and get through it, or a TV show, because there's no barrier to entry. You just got to sit there and watch it. You can suck at video games and still finish Mixtape, because the game is about as challenging as you sitting down to watch Love is Blind season God knows what they're on now. But when it comes to...
Did they, like, fucking make this for people who, like, literally have never played a video game before? Like, honestly, I'm kind of getting mixed messages on what their target demographic might have been.
On the other hand, that's a lot harder.
Like, now I'm actually, like, kind of thinking about, like, what was being said in the boardroom.
Experiences that a lot of us, like, want more games to be like, obviously, are also unpredictable. Look at Dark Souls. And mechanically rich games don't always fit neatly into prestige media conversations either. Also, you aren't going to have many games journalists sitting around discussing a more, mechanically heavy game, because that would kind of require them to actually play video games more and beat them. And asking games journalists to play an actual video game is taboo now, I guess. But the other problem is that this is all a double standard too. A lot of people online are noticing a major inconsistency in how games media reacts to different types of content. Remember when I brought up Lords of the Fallen 2's armor sets, or you could even bring up Stellar Blade, and how the game's media got really mad at Eve in that game?
Well, it's funny because they really make it very blatant towards you. Like, they will tell you how hypocritical they're being without actually like stating it outright. If you can take two games and just search on their tweets, right? Be like, okay, what did they say about, well, just Lords of the Fallen 2 versus what are they saying about this game? And you can literally just compare it like almost word for word and be like, okay, they're just being a hypocrite. They won't admit it. Okay, got it. Awesome. Again, I don't know why at this point we're still talking about games journalists like they deserve any amount of like attention from us. I almost want to just say, like, at this point, we should almost just ignore them. Granted, a lot of people are bouncing off of them for content, but if we really want to be honest, the health of the games industry would be much better if people just ignored them.
Being too hot or unrealistic with their outfits. They always go against attractive characters or like fan service aesthetics, especially when those elements involve adult female characters, which is weird to me. But whenever games are built around emotional teenage relationships or romanticized coming-of-age narratives, think Life is Strange, something like that, right? Or intimate, youth-focused storyline telling stuff like that tongue scene I showed you earlier. It often then results in a completely different tone of coverage, doesn't it? And whether that's fair or unfair, many people will see that contrast and then wonder, well, why does one type of content trigger outrage all the time, while the other one just kind of gets celebrated?
Because it's performative.
Why is the game's media against adult women looking hot, but they are frothing at the mouth when two underage kids are kissing on screen? It makes you
it is so weird. It's one of those things where it's just like when you really look at it and sit down and think like, you know, why are we here in this position? It really does bring up the question, like, are they performing some type of like faux outrage in order to like signal what side they're on? And it's so weird that they fall into alignment with a side that regular people just kind of see and are like, what the fuck is going on? I don't think it's as nefarious as being implied in all forms. It's because they're lost in their own nostalgia, so they don't see it as bad. Again, though, like, this isn't just the one time where they've done it. As far as I'm aware, like, I don't have any like immediate references off the top of my mind, but I know that they generally trend to fall on the side of if people like a game that has, you know, attractive characters in it, Stellar Blade being a great example, they have to go, like, they have a knee jerk, they must go against it. And it's strange. Same thing for, I guess, Pragmata would be a great example where, you know, it's presenting something in a positive light, like fatherhood or the male instinct to protect as positive. And they're like, nope, we have to be against this. And then it takes them to the weirdest places. It's just like, it feels performative. No, I understand that. I'm just thinking in this case, a lot of it is probably being paid, but also nostalgia. I don't know, man. I think that maybe at the beginning you might be right. I think that it eventually developed into, oh, the chuds don't like the game, and I'm using the word chud because that's probably what they would be using. It's the chuds don't like the game, I must like this game. A lot of it is like really
it's very weird, although it does give you
tribal,
a good
and I hate it.
how in the future, if the game's media ever really
exhausting to be tribal about video games.
Because you can just
don't do that, man. You're gonna break your legs.
Mixtape makeout session, but this offends you now, and I bet money those types will shut up the moment you bring that up because they know they can't debate you in good faith because it's true. Obviously, different themes are not automatically equivalent. I mean, context is going to matter, as does intent or execution of said ideas. But this is probably why, in my opinion, why so many are kind of just against what Mixtape represents. Because it shows that the media is just grossly inconsistent when it comes to just about anything these days. That when it comes down to the genre,
well, it's like engineered inconsistency
game,
too.
Like cops are bad in Mixtape's case. Journalists are going to love that especially, right? Or the aesthetic that's being presented, where it looks like I don't know, Stranger Things meets like Spider-Verse. It's sort of like how any movie made about black slaves or World War
No,
II
don't show
camps
that.
instantly feel like award bait that's designed to make reviewers, and especially like the Oscar voters.
I think
feel
that's a
bad
pretty
or
good
something, so they have to, like,
observation.
vote
They feel like reward bait. Yeah, this
the
game
awards, you know
feels
what I mean?
like
The
reward
perception
bait.
here, it
That's a
feels
good
the
way of
distrust,
putting
if
it.
you ask me. And once people stop trusting the consistency of
Nostalgia
criticism
notoriously
from
makes
those that
people
are,
look
you
at
know,
things with
meant
rose
to give
tints,
it,
especially
that's
when it's
kind of why you have what
experiences
you
they
have
wish
right
they'd
now.
had growing
The
up.
other
I'm going to agree with you on that. I think a lot of this is people seeing, oh, I wish I had that when I was growing up, or maybe even like tangentially they had maybe friends, that's giving them a lot of credit, but maybe friends who also kind of had this idealized life that they're trying to portray here. And I could see like where that could be nostalgia bait, but again, I don't think that like any of this, I don't know. I don't think any of this is like, I don't know where I want to go with that thought, in the sense that like it just doesn't feel like it's got a soul. It just feels, it feels soulless. I don't know how to explicate how I'm feeling about it. It's because like when I see it, like I said, it seems just like a middling 5 out of 10.
problem amongst all of this too is that modern gaming in general increasingly
That
chases
like
what I can
means
only
nothing
call
and says
prestige
nothing.
validation. So what I mean by that is studios want the rewards, they want their critical acclaim, they want, I guess, I don't know, cultural legitimacy, right? And cinematic storytelling often becomes the easiest path forward that recognizes that all the stuff they want and whatever else. The problem is the more games prioritize passive consumption over active engagement, the more that the industry risks diluting what makes games special in the first place.
It's true.
But frankly, I don't think they care either way.
Games
The
are an
fear is
active
the
hobby,
industry
not a
will
passive
continue to
hobby.
slowly drift and prioritize
I'd like to be clear, I do
experiences that are
think the
made
answer
visually
is this both is I'd like to be clear. I do think the answer is this is both happening at the same time. Where they're digging in because it's not received well, but nostalgia and money is another incentive to deny it. I'm willing to agree with you that they're probably both force multipliers on one another. I think that's probably a good way to look at it, is one is feedback looping on the other, and same for the other.
Impressive, that are curated emotionally, right? But at their core, they're just going to be mechanically shallow, which means that gameplay becomes secondary to the presentation. And every time a game like Mixtape reviews massive praise, before people have even seen much meaningful gameplay get way lower scores, well, that fear is just going to keep getting reinforced. So this is why I think Mixtape has had the reaction that it's had online so far, because players don't really feel like they're debating.
I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie. The energy has completely been sucked out of my body from this game. Like I don't generally lose energy over things, but I am like massively feeling it right now. That's a weird feeling for me. I've never had this feeling before. Usually I'm a pretty energetic type of guy, but man, this game's really draining me. Probably because for them, Pragmata and Celebrate represent a particularly or completely unattainable position. Normally family relationships, the opportunity to feel a super desirable woman. I think you might be right. Maybe. That might be definitely a cause of it. I think another thing is I think they have like a learned rejection of what a normative human being would find to be attractive or good. And I think that comes from a very postmodern take on the way in which they frame their lives, or rather frame their life outlook. And I think it's all learned, because postmodernism, in my opinion, is learned. And it's also incredibly awful for the human condition. And I think it can be traced back to those roots, maybe even like postmodernism. We might be in that era. I'm not quite sure. But it definitely seems a lot more animated by something that isn't internally felt. It's more internally justified by a manner in which they were taught. I don't know. That's just me spitballing. I've done like some real thinking on why people are the way that they are when it comes to like these types of things, where something that's obviously normal seems to be absolutely rejected outright by them as a knee jerk. And that's kind of where I've landed on. I think it kind of does. I think it cuts both ways there.
Game with this. They kind of feel like they're debating the future direction of the media itself almost.
Oh,
like,
man.
should games evolve into cinematic art experiences more, or should they remain fundamentally
No, they should be
rooted in
games.
interactivity in
Please
systems?
let them
Because
be
that's
games.
what, by definition, a video game is supposed to be. That's why you're seeing what you're seeing.
Well, they're already
And when
redefining
you
every
have
word in the
one
English
side
language
favoring
anyway. We might as well
mechanically
redefine
deep
game
games
as
or
well.
difficult action games, games that give you true player agency, and the game's media constantly rewards
That
games
hurt
that
to
are
say.
the antithesis of that entire idea more often than not. It then becomes clear that the people who score games are treating one side as being less
Me playing
legitimate
Stellar
now.
Blade.
And
Ooh,
it's
that's
not
a
the
cute
side that is
outfit.
more
I know,
video
right? Why can't
gamey
people
that
be
wins in the
normal?
end here either. Because again, how does Mixtape get a 10 out of 10, but Crimson Desert is 6? Make it make sense. Look, Mixtape might end up being a great experience for the people who want that sort of game, but that isn't the issue here. The issue is that the game's media's way of lifting certain games up while tearing others down is becoming more
It's
and
ridiculous.
more one-sided
It's
as time
patently
goes on.
ridiculous.
Because it's starting to feel
Yes,
like the
culture is
gameplay
human
of a
software.
game, the
It can
thing that
change, but
defines
may
the
take a lot of
medium for what
effort.
it is, and
I think it takes a lot less effort than some people think. And my reason for that is because, you know, throughout history, we've seen people go along with culture because the perceived majority go along with it. I think it's very elastic and not very rigid software, which is the scary part of being a human. And in that being the case, I think these people might have gotten an outdated patch of software that is causing a replicatable virus in the way in which they conceptualize and framework things. But again, I'm not a sociologist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just some idiot on the internet who's talking about video games. So don't take my word for it. But that's how I see things.
makes it different, is becoming secondary in many parts of what the mainstream critical space deems as important now.
And we have to
whether
deal
that
with it, by the
perception
way.
is fully accurate or
They
not,
are
it's
they are
leading to a lot of bad
problems
actors
that we
trying to
now have to
master
deal with.
incompetence at what games should and can be. When they're
Jesus.
slobbering over a Netflix movie where you push forward every now and then at best. But it's also reshaping how audiences will engage with games media itself, and I think we need to be careful here. Video games became the largest entertainment industry in the world because they offered something that no
Yep.
other medium could. And if the industry ever loses
And they're trying to
sight of
push it
that,
into
risks
becoming
turning games into
a
something
different
far less
medium.
interesting than what made people fall in love with them in the first place. And that, in my opinion, is the core of why
Mhm.
you're seeing what you're seeing when it comes to Mixtape. It's not a bad game. It might not even be much of a game at all.
It's
but
not a
either
bad
way,
game, it's not
it
a good
doesn't
game.
take much for things
It's
to
a game.
fall to one side. And right now, I'm hoping people realize we need more games that are actually games and
Yep.
not whatever
And more
this
games
thing is
that are
supposed to
actually
be.
games
But what do
getting
you think?
ratings
Let me
that are
know. Thanks for
actually
being here.
good
Subscribe if you'd like
because
to,
they're
and I'll
good.
see you next time.
All right. Thank you, Endymion. Okay. I can't do it. I can't talk about Mixtape anymore. I want to move on. I have to do it. In order for my sanity to be maintained, we're going to move on to something completely different. I just can't deal with this game. Honestly, it's kind of physically hurting my
The Steam
stomach too.
controller
Sorry, Bellular. We'll be right back to it. I am going to go get a Rolade. This game, man. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I'll be right back. I had to pet my dogs in order to mentally reset here. All right. Let's talk about Steam, please. Oh, no. Oh, I'm absolute mess today. Oh, man. Getting everywhere, everything. All right. Let's see what's happening in Steamland.
The Steam
Please have
controller
some
went up
good
for
news.
sale and it sold out in 30 minutes.
Mhm.
It sold so fast that it broke Steam's checkout.
Yeah, this thing was crazy.
But if you're an engineer working in Steam's checkout, it actually could have been worse, because by Valve's own timeline, the Steam Machine and the Steam Frame were also supposed to be on sale. Yet obviously, only the controller went up for sale.
So the Steam Machine was supposed to be released as well? Or pre-orders for it were supposed to be there? That's interesting.
And Valve told us why via a statement made to Polygon. Quote, "This doesn't have RAM in it." Yeah, your controller doesn't have RAM. And that is Valve telling us on the record that they cannot escape the RAM crisis. Now you may have
Okay, so they weren't able to sell it because they weren't able to get RAM?
heard that the RAM crisis was easing, seen headlines about RAM prices coming down, of data center projects being scrapped, maybe people thinking the worst is behind us. But Valve do not think so. They need you to understand why, and why the machine and the frame still are not here. And, perhaps more worryingly, what they're going to cost whenever they finally are here. And to begin with the happy bit, the Steam Controller Mark II launched.
Yeah, people went crazy over this thing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was even thinking about getting one. Now, I know I'm not a big, like, stan of things. I know it's just a piece of hardware I don't normally get like this, but it's Steam. I like Steam. But it was an expensive controller. I can't justify spending like $100 on a controller like this.
2015 era Owl Eye.
RAM prices going down doesn't mean their orders aren't still backlogged in production.
Shaped haptic
that makes sense.
Pads on an inverted boomerang.
That does make sense.
In its place, we have a controller that's effectively a Steam Deck.
Also, by the way, this controller is like a fucking chonker. Like, look at this thing. Like, that thing's huge. Like, I really like the Xbox controller. It's like kind of like the perfect size for me. The PlayStation 4 controller is pretty good too. But like, those little trackpads there, they kind of, to me, look a little unwieldy.
And a few upgrades. There's extra buttons, there's magnetic control sticks that should solve drift issues, gyro controls for natural cursor movement, and some lovely quality of life concessions with the Puck, which is a Bluetooth hub and charger. The reviews are almost universally positive. And the biggest complaints, well, those are also the factors that have made this device more likely to succeed than the 2015 model. Which may sound confusing, but it does make sense. You see, it's because it relies so heavily on Steam input, which is a really fantastic system within Steam. And it does make it so that this controller, Todd Howard guarantee, it just works with every game in your Steam library with no configuration needed. But there's a problem there. It does mean that using it for other games and PC is a bit trickier than general controllers. And the quality of the buttons and general feel are good, but they're a bit lackluster compared to expectations for, say, a...
Bro, I collect controllers and can't use half of them because my hands are comparatively small. That thing would be impossible for you to hold. Again, I get pretty particular about my controllers too. Like, I'm going to be completely honest, it might date me. I really love the Xbox 360 controller. And when the Xbox 360 controller transitioned into the Xbox One controller, I literally blew a gasket. I was so upset. I don't think you understand. I loved the Xbox 360 controller. And when I got my hands on the Xbox One controller, I was like, what the hell is this horse shit? I have to use it now. It's the only Xbox controller out there. But it made me upset. I am in the vast minority on this one. Most people would call me crazy for having that take. And you know what? I'll take it. You want to call me crazy? Hands up, you got me. I'll take it. But that's my opinion.
$100 device. Because yes, this is a $100 controller, and that price is perhaps one of the biggest signs that Valve had to compromise to get this device out the door. And you don't have to take our word for it, because Valve have said it openly.
Valve's been doing so good that not other platforms are trying to kill them. Not just other platforms are trying to kill them. Even like technology is trying to kill them.
Data breach you really need to be aware of. It actually impacted me and one of my editors. So Star Citizen just disclosed a breach. A quote, systemic and sophisticated attack. It involved player data being accessed, including names, emails, dates of birth.
That's really bad. How'd that happen, Star Citizen?
A month before they told anyone. And that's just the latest. We even had a scare last year on Steam with 89 million records allegedly being leaked. So the pattern is clear. Your data gets out there, and when it does, data brokers.
Oh yeah, there's no getting it back.
There are companies whose entire business is buying and reselling.
It's out there forever.
Data. And once it's in that ecosystem, it circulates. And that is what today's sponsor, Incogni,
Hey, look,
deals
that was
with.
me literally
You
about
sign
an
it.
hour and a
They
half
then
ago.
identify which brokers have your data, they send removal requests on your behalf, and they do this not one-off, they do it continuously.
Banging my head on the keyboard.
This saves you hours of paperwork because you do have a legal right to get that stuff taken down, but of course, actually using your legal right is just not something people will do because it's loads of manual work. So Incogni just handles all of it. And here's a look at my dashboard.
Getting your stuff off the internet's like probably super hard.
250 completed, an average resolution time of 12 days, and 21 brokers.
I don't even know how they
to make sure my
could make sure or guarantee that it's even off there.
Like
like
the names of the brokers, man, some of them are real.
To be honest, compared to other PC orientation controllers that are well made, it's on the cheaper end. Yeah, you're not wrong because I think like the Xbox One controller now is like $120, right? Something like that.
For the full quote.
It's ridiculous.
This doesn't have RAM in it, and it's not as complicated to start getting out the door for us. That's the full quote from Valve hardware engineer Steve Cardinale. Now, they could build up stock faster with this product than any of the other ones, meaning they can actually sell it to you, which does make sense given the component costs have been going up.
Yeah, so it's looking like they weren't able to fulfill their orders for the Steam machine, which is unfortunate. Like, I know a lot of people are waiting for the Steam machine, and I mean, I'm even waiting for the Steam machine too. I don't think I'm going to buy one. I'm not really in a spot where I need a Steam machine. And I hope it's cheap. I hope more people can get involved with PC gaming because, like, I think it's probably the best, like, situation of gaming. I'd love to see more people be able to access it, and I'd like to see more affordable options because PCs aren't cheap. Like, I totally get it. Like, a lot of people who I talk to who are, like, console gamers, their biggest, like, hurdle is PCs are too expensive. It's not anything to do with, like, you know, they're too complicated or anything like that. It's just, it's too expensive and I can't have it in my living room. It's like, I'm hands up in the air. I'm like, I get it. I get it.
But they also say
console controllers are cheap. Are the cheaper variety, although most of them can be used with PC, especially if you go to aftermarket.
Told Rock Paper Shotgun that they, quote, wanted to dispel any rumors that we were intentionally holding back the Steam controller. That would be, of course, for sales parity with other devices. And he says that across firmware, hardware, and production quantity, they've actually achieved their goals and they can just get the controller out the door.
Oh,
but
good for them.
There is one target that they admit they missed, and that's price. Obviously, $100 is not the most expensive controller in the market.
Right, but a lot of people, I mean, obviously, there are a lot of people who would buy it, but a lot of people also see $100 and they're like, okay, I'm just going to go get another cheaper controller somewhere else. Totally makes sense. Like, personally, for me, like, I bought this controller about half a year ago, and I'm worried for the day that it's going to start breaking or busting, because it's like, I don't want to have to continue to spend, like, however much money I spent. I think I spent like $80 on this. I don't want to have to continue spending like $80 on another controller.
Are $200+ ones. So it sits firmly.
$200 is crazy.
Pricing, which makes sense for a niche use case sort of enthusiast controller, but it still seems higher than what Valve wanted. It still seems to be a compromise. You see, Yang told PC Gamer that, quote, price has gone up from where we originally wanted it to be. And beyond even the base price, they also cited tariffs and import costs for variable international pricing as well.
That's sad.
So, this controller...
We're talking about the difference of $30 between Xbox PS controllers to the Steam for the basic wireless ones, with Pro version being more expensive. I know, like, that's what I said. Like, it's not a lot of money, but it's still like $30. Like, $70 is a lot more justifiable, in my opinion, than $100. You know, $30 is like a meal nowadays. Maybe two if you're getting it from fast food. If you're buying it from groceries, like, $30 does still go a decent ways. So it's like, I get it. Like, you know, $100 is like, now I gotta really think about, do I really want a $100 controller, or can I just get an Xbox 360 or Xbox One for like $70?
One that we can actually get may be the one that Valve could ship fastest, but that doesn't mean that it's been unaffected by the chaos of the markets lately. And that's a chaos that has been getting worse.
But, you know,
all
it's
the time,
again coming from Steam, which is very trusted.
Gears up to launch devices that, unlike this controller, do actually have RAM in them.
No, you can agree. That's a few days worth of groceries, depending on how many people you're feeding. Yeah, and like, again, I like Valve I'd love to give them, you know, I would love to be able to be in a position where I can say, take my money. I'd love to give them something for a product that I would trust. But the $100 did have me going like, I don't know if I can justify $100 for this. And I can understand that. Like, I think they probably wanted to shoot for like the $70 range. Because I trust Valve would actually care to make sure that it's in an affordable range for people. That's just how I see Valve. You were just speaking from if you're already shopping for a luxury good with yeah, no, definitely if you're already shopping for a luxury good, totally, 100%, $100 is great. But yeah, I think a lot of people who aren't shopping for a luxury good, who just want it, and they wanted to target the demographic of people that are like, I just need a controller. I can see where they're coming from on the might not have hit the mark that they wanted.
We're talking about the Steam Machine. We know Valve isn't building the highest power, top-of-the-line device. Hands-on previews show 16 gigs of DDR5 memory with 8 gigs DDR6 VRAM for the GPU. Now, that should be fairly capable, especially with Valve's custom firmware solutions and an endless pile of
It's a good price point for a well-made controller compared to its competitors. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's bad at all. Like, I'm saying that, like, I get it. Like, $100 is where they landed. That's great. But I can see that they are also trying to keep it in an affordable range for people who are looking for a lower end comparison as well with a quality product, which is what I'm saying is like, I understand that. Like, I totally like that. I want them to be able to push that as far as they possibly can. And just, you know, anecdotally, like I said, I'm looking at that going like $100 controller, even though I trust them, that's still a big ask for me. And I'm not in a bad spot. But I'm still looking at $100 like, I don't know. I want it, but not $100 want it.
Performance-wise, it should be pretty good, but it also might have gotten them ahead of an impending market problem, as, of course, demand for memory continues to throttle every industry that possibly can use memory all at the same time. Now, let's get into that. As spotted
we love
by
the RAM
WCCF
crisis.
Tech, a Korean outlet called eDaily has reported that Samsung is ramping up its DDR6 production. And by ramping up, it's quadrupling. That's huge.
Great.
And it would sound like good news. I mean, that's what's powering the memory of PlayStation, Xboxes, the last few generations of graphics cards, as an example. It's
what's the
Steam
problem
Deck's
here?
GPU, but that is an increase that is not...
You're mostly just musing based on what you know about controllers. Yeah, no, I understand completely. I get what you're saying. That's why I was trying to clarify in case I had misspoke.
Really for RAM that's going into those devices. It's probably not even for you. You see, production quadrupled.
I'm going to bet you this is all going to AI.
Alone. And
for Tesla,
even with that, it's still 20% short of what Tesla asked for.
I think we're probably going to be living in an era eventually where gaming is going to become a status symbol. That sucks, dude. Like, it really seems like things are just stacking up. Like, we're stacking debuffs in order for people not to even be able to purchase something. God, that sucks, dude. Like, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or like somebody who's like, you know, taking things way too out, but it just seems like things are just continuing to get more. Well, the good news is that we'll have the indie industry. That's the good news. And usually indie games can be played on lower end machines. So hopefully we'll be able to maintain being able to play games in a way that it was meant to be for everybody. Hopefully only AAA dies. God willing, only AAA dies.
What does Tesla need DDR6 RAM for?
And hopefully Steam can make their Steam machine affordable.
Quote,
it's not even necessarily international when it comes to PC. It's other markets using the same chips for their gamers' needs. Yeah, no, absolutely. Isn't it? It fucking sucks that like everybody uses these now.
Automotive, infotainment, and autonomous driving systems. Yeah, everyone who's building any kind of product that has RAM in it is of course competing for the same production.
First it was data mining for crypto, taking our graphics cards. Now it's data centers for our RAM. Well, and now fucking cars.
Quadrupled 4x. That's mad. Now, let's just stop and sit with that for a second, because that's the same type of memory that's going inside your modern consoles, costing almost 4x what it did a year ago, and it is still climbing. And as those prices increase, so do the prices of electrical components, chipboards, everything else that's needed to keep up with the rising demand for this type of thing from the world economy, of course, including the data centers. And that's why a RAM crisis can still impact a game controller's component costs even if the game controller has no RAM inside, because a lot of this stuff is pretty commingled. Plus, even as the data centers are changing their demands for specific components, that actually doesn't mean things get better for you. And
no, it
you
doesn't.
should know that. Now,
Well, because like they're still using the same base resources, I would assume, right?
I didn't try to, I guess, shit on the
take care of your
lower
PCs,
RAM
boys.
pricing
Dust
headlines
frequently
just
and
to
keep
make
it
people
surge
feel bad. That would
protected.
suck.
Yes.
It's to set expectations.
Absolutely.
So you don't get,
I gotta
like,
dust this
gutted,
bitch off too.
disappointed and let down. As flagged by Tom's Hardware, Intel recently
You reminded
told
me.
their
I gotta go
investors
get my
that they're
canned air.
expecting data center systems to move from being GPU weighted to being equally split between GPUs and CPUs. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that GPU demand will drop. It could just mean that CPU demand will increase. And just so you understand what that means, in the data center, yes, it is true that the, say, large language model or whatever it is, inference, like that is a thing that's done on like big pools of GPUs, right?
Right.
But a lot of the other things involved in, say, orchestration, well, that is going to be CPU limited stuff. And what we're finding is that as
I'm like completely lost. It's like I know what he's talking about. I just have like nothing like to add here. I completely understand why it is, and it's like obviously it's for an economic reason. And I don't know. It's just it does make me a little bit worried for the direction in which we're heading. And I don't know if like I should be worried about it, but I want to be worried about it, and I don't have anything that I can do. Like what can I do except not buy the products that are super expensive? I don't know, man.
Tool calls and just way more things like that are basically increasing in importance, because essentially a large language model's good at doing language model
Right,
things.
yeah, sure.
Where it begins to become more economically useful is when that can be driving code, running a bash command.
Well, I mean, I would also assume that what would become a lot more economically viable moving forward, because I would assume that like they'd get better and better at making these things with either lower RAM amounts or more effective RAM or computer parts, I guess, at this point. So, in the future, it definitely will get better. But like right now, we're kind of like in a crunch.
Doing tool calls, right? That's kind of the glue that actually makes the next token predictor vaguely useful, at least say in the software space. So that's why the GPU to CPU mix is going to be changing. But it's not like it's a rebalancing for existing resources. It's just that as future builds happen, there will be more
they're
and more
just trying to make
CPUs.
more, yeah.
There will still be need for GPUs. And returning to Intel, they say that they're already not meeting demand. The CFO, David Zinsser, described currently unmet demand as a number that, quote, starts with a B, so it's meaningful.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
Billions. It's a lot. Now, through all of that, the people who can pay the most will win, and that's because they can lock in their orders first and for the longest period. Now, PlayStation are already in that category. You see, at their last investor call,
Of course
CFO
they are.
Lin Tao
Yeah, this is another thing. It's like, I'm going to bet you all the AAA industries probably get first dibs on a lot of the stuff that's being produced, which is probably pushing out a lot of other business interests elsewhere. So interesting. I would assume that it's very interesting in how this stuff is like purchased and like at what price point they're willing to pay above market in order to secure their production schedule for the coming quarter or the coming year or something like that. And I bet you if you looked at it, you'd be like just eyes bulging out of your head like, really?
Told investors that they were set with, quote, minimum quantity necessary to manage the year-end selling season for next fiscal year. So that was her reporting some good news. Now, someone like, say, Valve, who's building a new product
will
for
probably try to
kind
be
of
starved out of the
prestige
market
sales from their own
I would
store,
assume.
well, they don't necessarily have the leverage to do
Yep.
a Sony. That's because for as
Because
many
they're not
units
Sony.
as the Steam Deck has sold, could be around like 4 million, that is nothing compared to what, say, Sony will be buying for a PS5 or PS6. But what's perhaps most concerning here...
optimistic predictions here. Optimistic, like, this is like the best case scenario. The Steam box comes out. The GameCube comes out. Whatever it's called. It comes out. It's a big hit. one console, be it Xbox or PlayStation, just gets nuked off the face of the planet. Like, it just becomes a market replacement for them. I think that's probably best case scenario. But once that happens, whichever console's left, probably PlayStation, now has to play ball with the GameCube. I guess Nintendo's also probably put in there too, but Nintendo kind of does its own thing regardless. Once they're forced to come to the table and play ball, I think a lot of the issues in the games industry changes, or at least it irrevocably changes in a different direction, because now the new player on the scene that's incredibly player friendly, that players love and want to give them their money in order to purchase it. And once it starts obviously going into the normie sphere, that's it. Their day has come. This is just a dirty secret of any manufacturing supplier is going to prioritize their larger purchasers. Exactly. Hopefully we can make them that larger purchaser. I just cut out on my mic. Hang on, I'm going to turn myself down just a bit. Perfect. I hope there will soon be breakthroughs in AI that will lead to cooling of GPU and RAM prices. Otherwise, we'll have to hope that quantum computers will ease our suffering in the next 10 to 20 years. I don't know where that's all going to go. Because like I said, like I've always said, I'm not a Luddite. I do think that AI, in a way, is heading towards the future. I totally understand that. I think that it's probably good in some measure that AI is being utilized as it is right now in order to make it better in the future. Cool. Perfect. We probably can all generally agree with that statement. The usage of AI, we can talk about all day, but AI is here and it's here to stay. I do 100% hope that you're right, that we find some breakthrough that's going to stop it from literally adversely affecting everybody along the way. Because I don't know about you, but I'm so tired of being told, yeah, everything sucks because of AI, because literally it has been draining a lot of consumer goods and a lot of like other industries in order for everybody to put into it, because everybody's doing something with it. It's just like, come on, can we cool it on that so I can actually like get my GameCube? Can we cool it on that so like, my PC parts can go down in price? Like, please, I'd love to see that.
Is that, in a way, we kind of
like,
know about these
pump
problems.
the brakes for like
when I say to
a
you
quarter.
That executives are openly talking about these issues, and that's likely an indicator of a problem. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that leadership who had once cut off their right arm rather than admit structural problems with their production pipelines,
100%.
They're now happy to tell you that they're unable to make devices. That's quite something, because it's obviously them recognizing the problem is not one that they can brush over for, say, their shareholders.
It's almost like we're
Often
in a
problems
bubble.
Are brushed over so shareholders don't panic. Or perhaps companies
it's almost
will
like
talk
it's
about their
probably
AI
going
strategy,
to pop
their NFT
in the next
strategy,
couple
all
of
that
years.
crap, because they want to say things that won't panic investors.
Oh God, you remember when NFTs used to be a thing? I remember when NFTs used to be a thing like 2 years ago. Where are they now?
Now,
Good
in order
riddance.
to not panic shareholders, they're being a bit more open and realistic. That does quite tell you that the issue is real. And that's especially because they know they need to set expectations right with consumers. And Xbox is an example of this. You see, Xbox's Project Helix is mostly going to be a PC under the hood. Even more so than the current consoles,
Imagine.
right? And Xbox's leadership are not trying to pretend that
Wow.
they can work around the current.
They're doing the thing that every gamer told them to do and just make a fucking PC. Imagine my shock and surprise when they actually say, I guess this is our plan now. I guess we're making PCs now, boys.
Market issues. Ashish Sharma, new CEO of Xbox, told GameFile, quote, memory costs will impact pricing, will limit availability. There's also some leaked Activision acquisition documents that showed that back in 2023, Xbox was preparing for a 2028 launch of Project Helix. But now leadership are openly telling the media quotes like this: we're not ready to share a launch.
Down the way, it's going to be really interesting to see where the next console generation lands. Not only because like we are experiencing this like issue with the shortages and stuff like that, but I'm curious as to whether or not these shortages are going to cause some externalities down the line where the next generation's actually always just going to be behind. Because like, usually you want to make the next generation of consoles that are going to be serviceable for the next like 5 to 10 years, maybe 15 years, depending on like what your time frame is and when you first started making the console. But I can't help but think that like it's going to be one of those generations of consoles that's going to come out 2 years too late and has to end like 3 years too early. I don't know. It really kind of seems like we're going to be in for a short generation this year.
Launch time
or next year or whenever the hell it comes
pretty
out.
Dynamic. Yeah, dynamic's one way to put it. So they know they can't change the economy. They can't change these things. But they're not even trying to hide that fact anymore. And even a company as traditionally secretive as Valve that does not have to play to the concerns of shareholders, even they are now saying the same thing in press interviews.
Sure.
Partially, it's because they know that they can paint someone else as the villain here. But the reason why they need to do that is because they don't want you to blame them whenever you feel the sticker shock that they feel basically forced to give you. And Valve are doing this because seemingly
I could see that.
need you on their side sooner rather than later. Which, if you've got the cash, might be the good news.
Well, even if you don't have the cash, I'm going to bet you that a lot of people are going to be on their side. Valve has some like really strong like people who support them. And I'm going to be completely honest. I agree. I think they earned it. I think they've earned maybe a couple of years of blind fervence to their platform. Because even if they make mistakes, usually they try their hardest to fix and correct them. Like, they're player friendly. They don't hate you. They actively, like they said earlier, we're trying to keep the price range at least in a position that most players can access. Like they said that they were surprised, or at least that's what was claimed earlier, at the price that the controller had to land on. You know what? I'd be willing to put whatever clout or power or purchasing power or money or whatever, whatever object that I can have behind them as a company. Even if I do or do not like companies in general, I would be willing to put it behind Valve because I believe that they also have my interests and have my back, because they've done it and they have a track record of it for decades at this point. A lot of companies don't have that much anymore.
For the end of this video. Back in February, Valve gave us a hardware update. They told us that their, quote, goal of shipping all 3 products in the first half of the year has not changed. Obviously, it's not looking great. It means they've got till the end of June to get the machine and the frame out of their warehouses.
You got this, guys. You got this, Valve.
Is that there's a few signs that maybe they'll manage it. Let me explain. Import tracking has showed that Valve have been taking stock of controllers in the USA for about a month. Before it went up on orders. And now we're seeing, over the last few weeks, similar reports suggesting that warehouses have been filling up with, quote, game consoles. Now, the way to understand that is, you see, whenever you're shipping something to another country,
I can't wait for the GameCube to hit the games industry.
You've got to put down a thing called a harmonized code. And that's basically just slicing all the products in the world into like little categories. It's the sort of thing that like governments, legislators, etc. will be using to set policy, to monitor their economy, right? And it means that some things are public. You can quite literally like look up the public registers of this stuff. So we know Valve.
To be fair, there's also a lot of codes that go out for stuff like this, just in general, that usually are placeholders for things as well. There were a lot of, I forgot, there was a while ago, there was a game that was supposed to come out or something happened and the code was going around, but like there was no product that was actually being transferred. It was interesting to see how these things worked in the background. So it could be that we might be being misled by typical business practices that don't really have anything behind them. But it's still optimistic. I'm still optimistic that there's actually product being transferred.
Are taking shipments. Those shipments are of game consoles. And so with that, it's obvious the Steam machines are coming. Valve have been able to produce at least a manufacturing run of them. They've been able to ship them to warehouses. Maybe they won't arrive in the warehouses with RAM in them. Who knows? And I guess the good news is...
Please let it hit the games industry.
But the bad news is maybe bad news you got.
Let it be good.
You may have seen the recent headlines about RAM prices going down. Don't take that as this crisis breaking, because it is not. The very same trend.
I'm thinking that
behind those numbers,
please be $1,000 or under.
Prices spiking up to 63%.
I think it's got to be $1,000 or under, otherwise people are going to be disappointed.
Printing money, and the consumer dip is actually a little bit different. It's consumer. It is retailers blinking on extremely high prices that nobody was paying. So it's based on that, not the actual structural problem driving this whole thing easing up. It's literally, they're going down because retailers are trying to get rid of stock. So Valve then does not have the leverage to absorb what's coming in the way that some other large megacorps could. And that's why the only remaining questions are quantity and cost.
Pessimistic view here. I hope that this is not like the bubble doesn't pop while Valve's trying to, you know, push these out and trying to sell a new console, trying to make like their name for the console industry. Just because, like, wouldn't it be just about the right fucking time that everything just like crashes as a market when Valve makes the probably most proactive move for gamers, period? That would suck. Please don't happen.
How limited will these be in number? How much will they cost? And whenever you see the answer to that question of how much they cost, Valve are hoping that you remember that they told you in advance, because it's not the price.
What's to say? The limited availability and growing prices of these critical components mean we must revisit our exact shipping schedule and pricing, especially around Steam Machine and Steam Frame.
Have wanted to change. And I think that's broadly the case for the whole games hardware industry.
Oh no.
Basically, we're all a little bit screwed right now. And the amount of money that we as a, I suppose,
it looks
segment
rough.
of the economy command is just not that much.
Honestly, they'll
as
probably
compared
sell
to
everything,
the
I'm
other
gonna be completely
sectors,
honest.
Many seem to be in high growth that are demanding all this hardware. And if you
I'm
ask
being
me,
hopeful.
what's more sad than anything in this is that we're losing our gateway into gaming. Do you remember the 1050 Ti? Legendary chart for its price to performance. And for so many people, that's what allowed them to get into PC gaming. What I really worry about is that now people will be getting into different kind of games that maybe don't involve owning hardware. And I think a lot of those games have worse incentives, and even worse.
I'm going to be fair. There's a lot of good indie games out there that don't have to run on like the best hardware, which is good. And a lot of these AAA games that require this hardware, like including like, you know, games like South of Midnight that are like you have to have like a really good like set to do, aren't worth playing to begin with. So hopefully those are the games that we will be losing. A stingy gamer tier fell past the fingers crossed in hope. Exactly. I can feel it in my heart.
Worse than that, it could hasten adoption of game cloud streaming. It's not something that I'm inherently against, but I can see a troublesome, a worrying future where you don't own compute. You just rent it from a data center.
That's going to be a scary future. Oh my God. Don't make me cloud compute my machine. I don't want to do that. I want my own machine. I don't want to have to be independently wealthy to own my own machine. Like, I want to have ownership of my stuff. Is that, oh
that's
my God,
kind of what
please.
goes on with a lot of the big
I'm laughing,
AI
but really
models
it's
that
a
you can't
laugh
run
that's
in your local
hiding like
computer. And it's probably
the existential
what will go on
dread.
for many people when it comes to the GPUs that they would really like to play.
My mother came to me not too long ago, and she basically said, I'm glad I'm going to be dying when I'm dying, because throughout your life, you're going to have a hard time with your fucking like computer stuff. I'm like, oh, no. Oh, I don't want to live in this reality. Give me my computer. Let me buy it.
It won't be your memory. It will be in a data center, and you will be charged. And I gotta be real with you, it doesn't sound too good. Now, sometimes we get stories that really sound bad, but actually, they're more interesting when we dive into them. And the next video you can watch is on that, with the PlayStation Time Bomb.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I think we talked about that, where it was the there was a timer in games they updated through a timer. Oh, jeez. What a time to be alive. Today's been a downer day. Holy shit. Maybe we can, let's see, do we have something that's not that big of a downer? Not really. Let's talk about Instagram. You know what? Let's do the moon video. We're already in this weird, like, we're in this weird state
How many
where we're already kind of like talking about crappy things. So let's talk about how the Instagram's causing idiocracy. I know we're like bouncing back and forth between topics here, but like I cannot underscore just how much energy was sapped from me from fucking Mixtape today. All right, Moon, what do you got for us?
How many books did you read last year? If you're like 40...
Actually, wait. Hold on. Technically, I read the first page of a play from Shakespeare.
percent of British people, the answer is
So I'm already
zero. And it's not
better
really
than a
like
lot of
the
people.
other 60% are avid readers either. Even college students whose entire job is to study aren't actually reading books.
Oh, no.
Professors across the US
Oh
are
no, I didn't read anything in college. I mean, I maintained like a pretty good GPA, but I didn't read anything.
classes
I
to
was a
students
terrible
who can't
student.
read full books anymore. This is a massive neon sign that we're plummeting towards idiocracy. And
Like, I will say that people should read all the time, but I'm a big hypocrite on this part. And it's okay. So I don't read, not because I don't like reading. I don't read because I just don't have time. Because I'm playing video games all the time. I know I'm a terrible person. I want to get into audiobooks because I don't really read fast, but you should read. Reading is like the best way in order to expand your mind. Don't be like me. Please read something.
soon, kids aren't going to be able to read at all.
So yesterday I came.
Wait, I lied. I read a book of Robert Frost poetry. I actually read. Get distracted now is better than drilling into a hopeless pit of not owning my PC. I know, right?
The realization my students can't read.
No, they can't. No. The literacy rate is like absolutely like 50%. 50% of people can't read above a 6th grade level. I can read above a 6th grade level and I don't read, but that's because I had good teachers when I was in school.
The tragic truth. And I struggle with being told that I have.
Press X, you don't think I can read above a... I might not read it fast, but I can read it. I've read the first opening paragraph of Bleak House. I've read the first bit of Bleak House. I know what's happening, and I can read it and understand it.
Have to focus on
I'm
certain
a big boy.
standards on grade level text when my kids are not reading grade level.
40% of American 4th graders are below a minimum basic level of reading comprehension. Test scores have been plummeting for years, and kids literally can't sit still in class or understand basic instructions. It's almost like there's something distracting them.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm getting flashbanged by this. Oh, Jesus Christ. Bro, I was talked about the poetry. You just roasted yourself on that? What? You were saying ... to Robert Frost? What do you mean? I like poetry.
Mind-numbing, isn't it? Well, this is
that
exactly the problem. For years now, teachers have been reporting massive problems with behavior, making stories like this all too common. In a comment on the teachers subreddit, a user described their middle school students in a truly dystopian way. Literally all my middle schoolers want to talk about are TikTok trends and memes.
I have a bunch of friends who have like kids and stuff like that. And it's interesting to see the difference when I was in my generation when I was in school versus like, you know, how they act and what they are interested in and how they approach things like scholastic endeavors, because you get the very like rare exception where there's a kid who's really, really interested in like educational things, but most of them just can't care and are not encouraged to care by the system. It's mind-blowing to me. Now, I just doubted you read this year. I did. I read some of my Robert Frost poetry.
That's it. My school prohibits phones from the first homeroom bell to the dismissal bell. As soon as the bell rings at the end of the day, they're pulling their phones out of their bags and scrolling TikTok as they walk out of the door. They literally don't know how to function without it. It's scary.
That's
Other
true.
teachers chimed in with their own similar experiences. We took the kids to Knott's Berry Farm and they were just on their phones the entire time. A lot of them didn't ride any rides. I had multiple kids tell me
insane,
their favorite
bro.
part was the 5-hour bus ride there because they got to be on their phones the whole time.
Okay, I'm going to be completely honest. So we had a trip when I was in 8th grade to like a couple of historical places, and we drove on the bus. The bus ride was my favorite part too, because I stayed up all night because I brought my GameCube with me and I played like in the hotel for the entirety of the night. So I was like up until like 4 o'clock in the morning while I was on this school trip, and I got to sleep on the bus ride between all the historical attractions. And well, that was my favorite part because I actually slept. I know. Anyway, there is also a worldwide shortage of young teachers, especially for primary and secondary schools. The education crisis will soon become a major issue in our future. It's also not even a shortage of young teachers. It's a shortage of good young teachers and a shortage of male teachers. I had a couple of male teachers when I was in school, and they were always the best teachers because they were just great teachers. And not too many males are becoming teachers anymore, which is a shame, because there is a certain amount there's a difference in a class that's taught by a guy and a difference in a class that's taught by a girl. And I think in order to be well-rounded, you probably have to have at least a couple of classes by, both males and females in order to, I would say, grow as a person. And I think that helped shape me into the person that I am, is that I had positive, or at least decent enough male and female role models in my life. And I know a lot of younger generations aren't getting that. Also, they kind of got one shot by COVID. That was huge too, where they lost like 2 years of school and like having to be online. That was scary.
Children are put on a tablet. They're put on a TV screen.
Yep.
They have phones at the right age of 6.
If you are a parent and you give your child a tablet before the age of 12, you are not a great parent. I know. This is coming from a non-parent. I think we're going to find that out in the next decade, that you've caused a lot of problems by doing that.
6 and 7. They don't read anything. They don't watch regular TV. They don't see commercials. They are glued to a screen 24/7 with instant gratification. They don't know how to be bored. They don't know how to use their imagination.
Social media has poisoned kids' brains so badly to the point that actual roller coasters are less interesting than the dopamine dispensers in their pockets.
Students are not reading anymore. They're not reading on their own. They're not reading for class assignments. I stopped giving independent reading because students were just not doing.
Oh, also, Nova, I lied. I just remembered. I read the Testament of Solomon. I make sure that I read that around once every year because I think it's an interesting little volume. It's not long, but I read it.
And we're happy to take
Get wrecked.
the 0 or the F or the D in order to not read the book. So they were actively trying not to read anything.
Now that the cat's out of the bag, no social media ban for kids is ever going to reverse this process.
I wonder if we're going to talk about how AI also kind of just allows you to not have to interact with anything scholastically anymore. You're outsourcing your thinking to a machine, which is another scary aspect of where we're kind of going.
But the truly awful thing here is that this was all planned. But before we continue, here's a quick word from today's sponsor. You see, most people think the hard part of quitting smoking or vaping is the nicotine, but it really isn't. It's the habit, the hand reaching up, the thing in your mouth, the pause in the day. Nicotine clears your system in about 72 hours. The hand-to-mouth loop sticks for years. That's why patches and gums so often fail, as they replace the chemistry and not the ritual. However,
I don't know where my little book
device
is.
that breaks the actual loop. There's no nicotine, no vapor, no batteries. Just a weighted, twisty piece of wood with replaceable flavor cores.
Actually, I think it's downstairs.
Of natural flavor,
I think it's downstairs in my library, and I'm going to use library in a very
trying to get away from. The flavors are deliberately lighter than vaping.
Liberal
Think flavored
sense
water
there.
versus soda.
That's just where I have
Personally,
all
for
my
me,
books that I
Crystal
don't
is
read.
The tastiest and the strongest. And then there's also the raspberry tangy one on the sweeter end, which is also delicious. I keep one on my desk and reach for it whenever the moment hits. If you want to check it out for yourself, head to tryfume.com and use code MOON to get a free fume topper with your journey.
I also read.
Just make sure to use the
I
link
also
in the
read
description
3
below.
books
Now,
in
might
Is It
have
Wrong to Pick
began
Up
as
Girls
a
in a
side
Dungeon
effect,
in
but
the
it
light
became
novels.
An intended consequence. Brain rot is just one part of the puzzle. If unleashing the digital equivalent of crack cocaine onto the nation's children wasn't enough, the US also embraced a system that completely failed to actually teach children how to read. Meanwhile, the tech oligarchs have taken over control of the news people watch, the social media sites that they use, and they've even gutted the education system. Just when it was most needed. Put together all of these pieces and the picture becomes clear. We're rocketing towards idiocracy. This isn't the first time the education system has been designed to suit their own interests. Public schooling and education has always had a purpose outside of actual education.
Do you know Paul Gaudy?
No.
Okay, Gaudy, I hope I have his name right. He was Teacher of the Year in New York State a number of years. He was no admirer of the current education system, let's say. And he wrote a history of the education.
By the way, I know a lot of people have opinions on Professor Peterson, but like, I think that he has a lot of observations that are pretty spot on, regardless of how you think of his politics. I think they can be used as a good sounding board to reflect on society.
Education system, which was extremely interesting. The Prussians established the first public education system. And the reason they did it was because the Prussian emperor wanted to produce obedient soldiers, disciplined, obedient soldiers. Now that was adopted in the United States in the late 1800s by industrialists mostly. All sorts of rural people were pouring into the cities to start working in factories. Their kids needed to be cared for while they worked, and then their kids were likely to have factory jobs. And so the purpose of the public education system
was in order to prepare them for factory jobs,
factory bells,
prepare them for
insistence on timing, was to
life.
Produce disciplined, obedient workers.
Men like Rockefeller and Carnegie, whose names are still all over the public education system, weren't...
Pretty sure this is pronounced Carnegie, but I remember hearing about this actually, because like, they saw the Prussian system, or they saw what was happening there, and they're like, okay, actually, this is a good system for us to be able to make sure that we can maintain our workforce. And, if I'm being intellectually honest about this, I can see the vision with that. And they might not necessarily have seen the down the line effects of that. And I can't really I don't know enough historically to be able to tell them that this was a bad idea, but I can see where they were going with it, at least in like a short term. I think that's the problem, is a lot of short-term things that people do don't really take into effect the long-term implications.
Purely motivated by the good of the nation. They wanted to shape the next generation to fit the needs of their machines.
I disagree. I think they weren't doing it for the good of the nation. They were doing it for the good of their workforce.
In this case, they were men who followed strict time schedules and who would be able to work the machines they were assigned to. Rockefeller is often quoted as saying, "I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers."
Exactly.
The results of this philosophy speak for themselves. Now, however you feel about Jordan Peterson, it doesn't really matter. This has been noticed and discussed by people all around society. In one of his lectures, Noam Chomsky had a lot to say about this. First, he plainly says the same thing. The basic institutional role and function of the schools and why they're supported.
It's actually crazy how, when you actually are a student of history in a way, it's crazy how much you agree with, literally anybody on this specific topic.
Is to provide an ideological service. There's a real selection for obedience and conformity. Let me just tell you a personal story. My oldest friend, closest friend, is a guy who came to the United States from Latvia when he was 15. The first thing that struck him about American schools was the fact that if he got a C in a course, nobody cared. But if he went to school 3 minutes late, he was sent to the principal's office. That's
So I had a professor in college from a Slavic nation. That it wasn't Russia, but it was somewhere in the area between Europe, mainland Europe and the Europe side of Russia, somewhere in there. And his school system was very interesting. And I'm a little ashamed because I wish our school system was a little bit more like that, because they very much heavily had a very big interest in making sure that you were educated to a degree, where the point of the schooling was to make sure that you had a mastery of the subject in which you profess to have a mastery in, instead of a strict grading system and rote memorization. He had to actually present, just for his bachelor's degree, to a board, to make sure that he was defending essentially the fact that he needed this degree or he deserved this degree. I couldn't imagine that coming to the States, because I don't think anybody would be able to pass it with a bachelor's degree. I've met so many people who have bachelor's degree that are the stupidest motherfuckers on the face of the planet. I swear to God. I don't understand where we become so lost with this issue with scholastic endeavors. I just wish our teachers would focus on education, embedding knowledge, focus on the students. You're right, mastery of subjects. Exactly. Because like we don't talk about mastery of subjects. We literally do our best to make sure that people just have a general like mechanical and memorizational knowledge. They have no ability to think.
Ultimately, why public education was instituted in the United States, in place to meet the needs of a newly emerging industry. It's not often that both sides of the political spectrum can agree on the same thing, but here we have it plain as day. To change the fabric of society, they didn't put their focus on the adults. They targeted children, indoctrinating them when their brains were still vulnerable to these repetition techniques.
True.
Every day was managed like the factory. They taught them to respond to the bell, to sit still.
Was it like the old phrase, the children yearn for the minds?
Listen to the person in charge. These feedback loops repeated over and over again, year after year,
kind of in a way.
Fast forward to today, and that education
like
system
I said,
is still pretty much the same.
I don't think talent really has much to do about it, because being able to think is something that is teachable and it does not come as innate parts of our hardware. People are not hardwired to be able to think. You have to teach somebody how to think, and we don't do that.
Only it's been left to rot. In fact, for decades, kids were taught using a system that didn't actually teach children how to read. From around the late 80s to about a decade ago,
that's another problem, is we're not teaching children how to read
using the whole language system.
Yep.
It emphasized teaching.
Like I used phonics, I used sight reading, I used pretty much everything, sounding out words. Nowadays, kids like they see a word they don't know. Oh.
Kids to read
nothing. There's nothing going on behind those eyes.
Rather than by sounding out the letters and actually understanding the word itself. Despite being proven as inferior and inadequate, whole language was still pushed for decades because it profited the people selling the learning materials.
I can imagine that.
When a 2022 investigation showed all of this, that
like you guys have all seen me read. Like I'm really bad at reading, and I think that might be due to dyslexia, but I'm not going to lean on that. I don't have a diagnosis for it, and I refuse to lean on that as a crutch. But I know my words. I know how to figure out the meaning of a phrase. I know how to read. Future technologies are going to need basic skills and common sense thinking. No, future technologies are going to require no thinking. Like AI requires no thinking. You put into something into AI, you don't need to think. And that's what we're going to be using to essentially run society. It's going to be the standout people who actually know how to think, who actually have a good education and good parents that taught them the basic skills to function as a human being, that are going to rule the world in the next couple of 50 years. That's just how it's going to pan out, and it's going to be dystopian.
But by the time that scandal broke, an entire generation of children had already been failed by it. Some of them are now adults, walking around with high school diplomas they can't even read. Take Eli Audit, a 19-year-old who just started a freshman year at the University of Connecticut. You
don't need a college degree to, you don't need a college degree to succeed pretty much in anything, like, period. Like, even when college degrees were huge, or when people were coming back for it, you didn't really need a college degree. It became the next standard of people going through the system. And unfortunately, everybody forgot that you don't need a college degree. The only reason why we really need college degrees now is because we're told we need them. Plain on its face. I want to go back to a time where we don't need it. And here's the problem, is we're not in a spot where we're going to be needing those. We're not going to not be needing those skills. We're going to be in a spot where nobody's going to have any skills, because even their primary education is going to be utilizing other outsourcing ways of thinking so that they don't actually have to do any heavy lifting. We're already seeing the down the lines effect of this. Like, talk to anybody who's on the street and ask them to read a passage from something, or ask them what they think about something. You're going to get something unintelligible. like 50% of the time, at least.
Graduated from the Hartford public school system last year. The only problem, she's completely illiterate.
Even today, could you read this?
Yeah, like
Or would
right
it
here.
take you a long
She
time?
graduated high school.
Seeing his words everywhere.
Alicia graduated from the Hartford public school system last year, but she says today she is illiterate.
Yep,
She
can't read.
still doesn't know how to read or write.
By high school, she was using text-to-speech apps to fake her way through every single assignment.
Yep.
So, if you had an assignment where you had to write something, you'd open up a document like this and then do what?
I would go here to use the text-to-speech.
It says dictate.
Dictate, yep.
Well, you're not going to get people to do that,
This is how
unfortunately,
you would do your assignments. If you had to read something, that's how you do it.
because it's a crutch. Like, see, right here? It's a crutch. They're being used as a crutch. It's
her mother
easy.
begged the school for help for years and got
And
nothing
again,
but empty promises.
That mentality that you're trying to espouse takes critical thinking. If you can't immediately have critical thinking and you're not taught to critically think, you are, because the concepts that you're trying to like purvey there are saying that we are the ones that should be driving it. That's a lot more, I would say that is a lot more abstract of concept that if you're not taught to critically think, you're not going to be able to articulate that. The video is such a sad state of our nation. It is.
Now she's suing the Hartford Board of Education.
And I'm okay with this depression rather than mixtape depression. Oh my God.
Whether you believe her
Or
story or
Ram.
not, profit became the incentive a long
Damn,
time
and
ago
she
for
can
the people
vote?
who
Yeah, she can vote now.
truly in power, who have no interest in educating people. And why would they
My
want
God.
to educate regular people? They don't need factory workers anymore. Western nations aren't producer economies anymore, they're consumer economies.
And that's exactly what happened. American manufacturing collapsed. Yeah. And they did it all for money. And they did it all because they were greedy. They were already rich.
All you need to do to confirm this is to take a drive through any town or city in middle America. Poverty, deprivation, and hopelessness.
I can't believe that this is America,
because
by the way,
jobs
that
just vanished.
the
They don't care
shanty town.
that their
We're going back
grades
to
are
like the
low.
pre-1940s.
They don't care that they're not reading. And when I had honest conversations with some of my students, I got the constant refrain that nothing is going to work for them anyway.
Mhm.
They're never going to be able to get ahead. They're never going to be able to own a home. They're never going to be able to raise a family like their parents and grandparents did.
By the way, this is students who believe this. Students. This is what they're telling their teachers or saying, like, is their life.
So why even try?
While this process began years before they entered the scene, the tech moguls have been complicit in its completion. Now the middle class is evaporating and the working class don't work anymore. Now, regular people are only relevant as consumers, and to consume, you don't need any level of education at all. In
Mhm.
fact, it actually gets in the way of it. The corporations which used to want workers have moved overseas to exploit cheaper labor. So at home in the US, they've been replaced by ones who specialize in extracting wealth. They're gambling companies, price gouging grocery stores, and social media companies as the newest, most lucrative operations of all. In
Yep.
Idiocracy, the movie predicts that entertainment would eventually devolve into
I
a
like
mess
money.
of flashing colors and slapstick toilet humor.
This came out, when did Idiocracy come out? Hang on, let me check. Because this is fantastic. (2006). This came out in 2006. Holy Jesus. How did we get here?
Ow My Balls was the most extreme version of this they could come up with.
By the way, hang on, let me see. You can watch it right now on YouTube. You can rent it on YouTube.
As we've seen
It's
already,
in your faces.
it pales in comparison to modern brain rot. Brain rot ditches the complicated world building and context that Ow My Balls establishes. in the
Jesus, this
first
stuff,
second or
man.
so. The algorithm would just see this as wasted.
I can't wait. Like, I can wait, but I cannot, like, see a future in which we get away from regulating this type of, like, garbage. Like, I feel like we're heading towards, like, a government regulation oversight body, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Time. It wouldn't work for the attention spans it's designed to cater to. We're what, 20 years from when YouTube was first released? What's entertainment gonna look like in another decade or so? TikTok's only been around for like 8 years. Well, like any addictive substance, brain rot has varying levels of strength. Adults might watch less offensive, slower paced, informative shorts with actual artistic value. But the real addicts, who are mostly children, need something a lot stronger. The social media companies, just like the tobacco companies before them, know that targeting new users is really all they need to do. If they can get someone hooked, then they've probably got a lifetime customer. This has been established for years. A whistleblower who was interviewed by the Senate in 2021 said exactly this.
Facebook understands that if they want to continue to grow, they have to find new users. They have to make sure that the next generation is just as engaged with Instagram as the current one. And the way they'll do that is by making sure that children establish habits before they have good self-regulation.
So I don't know, but like there was a cockroach king not too long ago who was saying that there needs to be like an actual hard limit on how old you have to be in order to access the internet, and that has to be 18. And you know, I'm laughing along thinking, oh yeah, haha, that's funny. I mean, honestly though, besides the fact that there's no real mechanism that you're going to be able to use to figure out whether or not somebody is 18, like, the sentiment being that you need to be 18 in order to access the internet, I think that might actually be true. Like, it's strange, but I think a lot of the aspects of the internet can act like a drug, and I'm saying that having been somebody who's been online for most of my life. And targeting younger audiences is something that we might not want to let large conglomerates do, because I think it becomes incredibly dangerous and becomes a race to the bottom. I don't know, like, if there is a way in which that can be enforced that is non-violative of rights and like actually useful, I'm all for it. But I fail to see how we'd be able to make it actually doable.
By hooking kids.
Straight from the horse's mouth. Yet it's only now, 5 years later, that some impotent efforts have been made to stop kids getting hooked. It's far too little and too late. The lockdowns put this process into overdrive, separating kids almost entirely from their actual lives and locking them into the virtual worlds. Then they were just expected to go back to normal straight after. Gen Z and older generations are hooked as well, just to varying degrees of severity. The problems with reading, as we saw, goes pretty far up the age range. It's a cultural shift towards ignorance and ultimately stupidity, the very definition of idiocracy. Lots of people have noticed these changes, but they don't.
I think it's Harry Truman. Let me see. I think it's him. I don't know. There is a quote flying out there that if you know, you know, that really shows what that is.
Francis Fukuyama, who many people see as the figurehead
well, I
of
heard
neoliberalism,
that this guy has some really good, or not really good, but some really interesting books.
Fast to say this.
Yeah, no, I think that's the way people communicate these days. It's you know, through these little snippets of ideas rather than whole coherent ideas, and I think it's, you know, it's pretty important. There's also, I think, a huge generational difference because people in my generation don't think that way.
Really though, it's a great tragedy. Imagine one person reads 10 classic books. Cover to cover, they take their time to absorb it and let it settle in. The other person follows the Tai Lopez method of reading instead, but they do it for 100 books or 1,000 of them.
Oh,
the difference
Jesus.
is that a year later, the person who actually reads the books will probably still remember them. They'll have at least a vague idea of what happened, the characters, the ideas of it. The person who skim reads 1,000 books will probably barely remember any of it. And even if they do, they won't have internalized the story or really gotten the value out of them. You might have seen those videos online where an AI voice just describes the plot of a film. If you have, do you really remember those?
Oh my god. I have these served to me algorithmically sometimes on my YouTube, like, that I use before bed, like I'm like watching stuff to calm down for the day. Sometimes I use them to be like, oh, maybe I'll want to watch this. Like, I won't like watch the whole video, but it'd be like, oh, does this look interesting? Yeah, maybe I'll watch this movie. But like, I cannot believe that there is a market for this.
Films? Did you really have any emotional impact or any meaning in your life compared to films you've actually seen properly? Now you've got people basing their entire belief system off snippets of ideas they saw on social media. Technology drained them of their ability to focus and actually think these ideas through.
Well, they don't have to like confront the ugly reality of like trying to figure out what it means by themselves.
This is what's so terrifying about idiocracy. It just leads to totalitarian control. Tech oligarchs are now literally taking over the sources of information. They're tightening their grip on the distribution platforms.
Yeah, that movie was like
social media and influencers individually,
saying this was 100 years out.
Like when Bezos bought the Washington Post years ago and then stripped it of thousands of journalists and recently began pushing ideas and articles which suit his own interests in politics.
Imagine.
After Musk took over Twitter, he has since joked about buying MSNBC. Larry Ellison, the multi-billionaire owner of Oracle, is
there he is.
culprit.
There's the guy.
He became a major stakeholder and controller of TikTok recently. Now he's masterminding the $111 billion merging of Paramount and Warner Bros.
Oh, Jesus.
He already had his grip on CBS. This deal would give him CNN as well. These people may not be sitting at the editor's desk telling them what they should and shouldn't say.
No, but they're certainly over their shoulder in more ways than one.
But there are, of course, certain implications, certain topics to hit or ignore, and general pressures towards certain views.
You know, that's a thing that a lot of people don't understand, is that when you own like a newsroom and you control what is and isn't talked about, you actually have a lot more editorial control about literally the thing that the normal person sees than actually sitting there and editing an article. Because like that's kind of one of those concepts that when you think about it, it's the lack of like showing a story or pushing a story to a higher degree over others becomes more of a tool than people actually are able to directly see or reference.
Yeah, media capture is about who actually controls the platforms and the channels that deliver news and information to us. And part of what we're trying to communicate is that it's increasingly a smaller and smaller number of people. That capture isn't just people buying, media properties so that they have it as like a vanity purchase. It comes with a real sense of power.
Despite the fact that nobody wanted it and the vast majority of people scrolled past it, Google has been desperate to push their AI overview answers to people's search queries. Lots of people explain this as just one thing tech companies are doing to justify the AI craze and to keep the bubble from popping. But as it takes over and people begin to actually use it, it creates a dangerous problem. Google just isn't really a search engine anymore. It's not just showing you what you were looking for, it's being a middleman. And their AI is the thing making contact with reality. The real information about the world, then it's passing on what it thinks is relevant to you. Google already controls what the AI thinks is relevant and what isn't. If they want to push a certain narrative, they can subtly leave out certain details from the AI summaries. As tech ownership of the media gets worse too, they'll replace more journalists and people with AI as well. This is already happening. Then they can have an AI emphasizing certain details and leaving out others in the stories it writes. Then they can distort that even more when it comes to people Googling it later, or watching things about it on social media.
Definitely gets scary.
The truth of any story gets hidden behind these walls, and while you still might be able to get to it if you're determined enough, most people won't. In fact, thanks to AI brain rot and idiocracy, they won't care in the first place. The dictators of old used to have to burn books to stamp out knowledge and truth which didn't fit with their ideology and their worldview. Future dictators won't have to bother. The libraries will remain intact, but the books will be covered with dust.
That is the scary part, where it's just like you have all the information there and nobody's going to check it.
Want to read them.
Wonder how we got there.
Depressing things about living in idiocracy. At the end of that film, when Not Sure figures out he can't actually go back, he realizes it doesn't even matter. He found his home. As the world gets dumber, it doesn't stop you from being able to get smarter. Those books that the rest of the world are neglecting, all that knowledge and wisdom throughout history is still out there. That's not going to change. So if you can actually protect your attention span, build discipline, and actually work through hard ideas and long books, you'll feel like a superhuman. Even the tech oligarchs themselves aren't immune to their own idiocracy. Musk is probably more addicted to Twitter than anyone else on the planet. Mark Zuckerberg's replacing himself with an AI agent, and as the
I mean, they do, yeah, like that's actually really interesting. They kind of like get stuck on their own supply, so to speak. I could definitely see somebody like making a system like this and then getting stuck in it. It's like It's so addictive. Even when you're the one creating it, you still fall victim to
While
it.
it gets dumber, nurturing your own inner curiosity becomes that much more important. And if you can do that, you can be a wolf in a world of sheep. And thank you for...
Well, that's depressing. You know, I'm going to be completely honest. I think I'm probably going to end early for the day. I know. But that game earlier really did take it out of me. And I did plan on doing a couple more videos, but I think it's probably time to call it for the day with all of the bad news that we've been having. Like, man, today was a depressing day. Holy shit. Go outside, touch some grass, call your parents, call a friend. I don't know, talk to somebody. Oh man, I gotta get off the internet for the day. Today's been a day, hasn't it? All right, everybody, thanks for all coming out. Sorry it's been kind of a bit of a downer, but you know, I guess it is what it is, right? And you know what? I hope actually the rest of your night goes well. I hope the rest of your week goes well. And tomorrow we're gonna be playing some Pragmata. We're not going to be getting down in the suck. We're gonna be uplifting our spirits. We're gonna be playing a good game, a wholesome game. And yeah. All right, everybody. Have a good night.